be a Christian. You know what I'm saying?
Shut the window, part 3.
Fuck it. I love you guys. Stay black.
This show is brought to you by Blue Apron. Is it Big Mike from across the street?
Nah, that's Monica. That's that. Big Mike. What's happening, Lisa? Yeah?
I had a good weekend. I watched Blazing Saddles with Paula for the first. It was her first time watching it.
Did she enjoy it?
Yeah.
Did it hold up?
For me, it does.
For her,
but
yeah.
I told my mom that we watched it today, and she's like, "Oh, when you're kids, it's good for girls, but it's always good for guys, but girls don't always get it." But I still love that bean scene and farting. Just that. Mel Brooks is a fucking guy. I would love to be able to meet him. He's fucking. I'm
a silent film Mel Brooks guy.
Silent film is great. I still haven't seen American History Part 1 or History of the World Part 1.
That's a good one. That's
a
really good one. There's just so many movies that you want to see, and now with Netflix, I'm behind the fucking catalog. Because I want to start from scratch all over again. I did watch a fucking great movie this week. Man, as a movie guy or whatever the fuck we are, we like to watch entertainment. And I've read scripts, and there's scripts that get made that you look at and go, this is fucking total garbage. Yeah. I really want to see the script for Rocky, because every time I watch the movie, it gets better and better. It's not something that I had the DVD somewhere in the house. It's not something that if I'm fucking lonely and the power's out and I got to watch a DVD, I would put in, because in your mind, you watch Rocky 1,000 times.
Right.
It's like a fucking relative. Rocky is like a parent. You take it for granted until you watch it, even with commercials, and you pick up little things that you go, you know what? As dumb and fucking goofy as he is, for that fucking movie, Sylvester Stallone on that day was Einstein. Oh, yeah. So all the stars came together. I don't give a fuck. I'll go pound for pound with Ed. That day, when he shot that movie, I couldn't even contain my tears. I could not contain my tears. The emotion it brought back to me, like where I was when I watched it the first time. I was at the Union City Cinema, and I saw a theater. For the first time in my life, I saw a theater blow up. And then a year later, I saw a theater blow up again with the original Longest Yard. I never saw that in the movie theater. White people fucking on their chairs cheering for convicts. You're walking home as a kid going, why was I cheering for fucking convicts? These are the bad people. But the whole theater was on their feet. But just going back to Rocky, it's perfect.
It's hard for a guy like me, because when I saw it, there's other ones like it. There's other boxing movies. Well, and whatever, I don't know what year it came out. Whatever year it came out, was there anything else like it at all, or was this the
first? What year it came out? Had to be 73 or 76. One of those two fucking years.
76.
Okay. Later on, when you're not doing nothing, I want all you motherfuckers to see what was nominated for. What was nominated for Academy Awards in 76? Let me teach you a fucking lesson about movies, so your fucking head explodes, okay?
Should I do 76 or 77?
Well, whatever, fuck, 76 and 77. Do the split screen. What do you got 19 computers for? The fuck, to be a weatherman? What was nominated that year for Academy Award?
Okay.
Your head will spin.
Best Picture was Rocky 1, All the President's Men, Bound for Glory, Network, and Taxi Driver.
Are you fucking kidding me? There's 4 movies in that. Well, let's read them again. Read them again.
Rocky.
Okay.
All the President's Men.
Okay.
Bound for Glory.
Who?
Bound for Glory.
Fuck them.
Network, which that's the one I don't
Network is tremendous.
And Taxi Driver.
Okay. What do you think? What the fuck do you think? What the fuck do you think? Now, let's get the release date for Taxi Driver, and let's get the release date for Rocky.
Taxi Driver was also 76. Let me see if I can find the date.
Okay, so you're a fucking young kid.
February 8th.
You're 10 years old. What's that one?
Taxi Driver is February 8th of 1976. Which other one do you want?
And Rocky.
Rocky. December 3rd of 76.
Okay, so you
thought... Oh, no, sorry, November 21st.
You think about that? That was a Thanksgiving movie in those days. Now what do you go see for Thanksgiving? Dick. Rocky for Thanksgiving? Everybody, listen, if you weren't born or you weren't alive, it was fucking huge. Everybody was Rocky, and everybody was doing jumping jacks. Everybody was running in the streets. Everybody was drinking fucking eggs raw. Everybody you know, everybody who wanted to be a tough guy was, I just ate 19 eggs raw. The Barbarian brothers were eating 36 eggs. Now you went to see Taxi Driver. The impact that movie fucking made on me as a kid. I remember that movie came on ABC Sunday night movie, October of '79.
Taxi Driver?
Taxi Driver. That's the first time I fucking...
With the horrors and the fucking shooting?
Well, they cut a lot of shit out in those days. But I remember watching it in my mom's bedroom, and my head was going to fucking blow up. Like, these movies were just... But back to Rocky. That scene when he goes in to the guy, and the guy says, I want you to do this, 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 and this. And he goes, listen, I'm just a fucking ham and egger. I almost had a nervous breakdown right there in my chair. My wife had to fucking give me mouth to mouth. And then the scene when he goes to look at the thing and he sees his shorts are red instead of blue. And he tells the guy, and he goes, does it really matter anyway? And then he goes back to the room with Adrian and he tells her he just wants to go the distance. So he doesn't end up like one of the bums in the neighborhood. Are you fucking kidding me, guys? Are you fucking kidding me? I almost had to fucking take 15 Valiums.
Did you have that experience when you first saw it, or because of looking back on it now?
You just look at that and go, that's how I felt. I understand what he felt like. He just didn't want to be a bum from the fucking neighborhood. Just end up in a bar drinking, talking about playing high school football or whatever the fuck they talk about, those people.
It's fucking crazy.
Have you seen the preview for Creed?
No, they say it's spectacular. I haven't seen it.
It looks interesting. Yeah.
Just tilt it down a little bit. Sorry.
There we go. Better?
Yeah, when people think it looks good, just seeing all these remakes, I just wish it would stop. But if it looks good, then I guess.
Well, Creed is a remake. It's the last in the Rocky chain.
Okay.
You know, so it's the 6th fucking movie he's put out. Obviously, the studios wouldn't invest in it. They didn't think they're gonna get their change back.
Oh, yeah,
obviously, Rocky and fucking China, they throw new chucks in the movie till they fucking light dragons on fire. That's what we know. What we don't know what they do here. We don't know what they do in England and fucking, look at the guy from Baywatch. Wasn't he huge in Germany?
Hasselhoff, yeah.
We don't fucking know what these people are doing.
They said that the reason why Netflix did that 6 movie deal with Sandler was because of how well he does overseas.
Overseas, yeah.
They're like, oh, we don't care if they watch it in America. This is for over here.
In the Philippines, they're still fucking talking about, him on a skateboard or whatever the fuck Adam Sandler does. So you never fucking know. Mike the Agent.
Yes, sir.
I really wanted to talk to you about comedy tonight. This is an education type thing because this is a question that every comedian has. And if anybody knows the answer, you're the fucking king of this shit. I know we've discussed it with Ari. We're all dear friends. We've known each other for a long time. You know Mike the fucking Agent.
Yeah, we've met many times.
Yeah, Mike's a good fucking dude. So tonight's more of an education type podcast. I got hit up by a bunch of people about this Nick Diaz thing. Plain and simple.
Right.
Okay. Plain and fucking simple. You could fight on the street corner. You could fight in a fucking gym on a Sunday for $200. Or you could fight for $500,000. They gave him the opportunity to fight for $500,000. He probably smoked a joint the day before. Am I supposed to be mad at him or whatever? I'm not mad at him. Was the fine hefty 5 fucking years? It's his 3rd time.
Right.
It's his 3rd time.
And it doesn't really matter if it's hefty. I mean, he must have to sign a contract that says you won't smoke weed.
Whatever the fucking reason is. Whether California, whatever the fuck, Alaska, Alabama, it doesn't matter.
Regardless if
that thing says you can't get high. I know a bunch of you guys would love to hear, listen, man. He's going to appeal it. He'll probably get it down to 2 years or 2.5 fucking years, but he broke a fucking rule. He broke it. Well, you know what? It's his 3rd one. If he respect what he did, Mike and I were talking about this before. I love comedy. If right now, tonight, what's the guy with the one ear that just got the fucking show? Stephen Dorff, whatever his fucking name is. Stephen Colbert, whatever his fucking name. Tomorrow, I got the fucking call. They'd like for you to be on the show. I'd have to turn it down because I wouldn't represent myself properly. Somewhere it'd have to be a fuck. Somewhere would have to be an edgy joke. So if I didn't look at it from that perspective, so if you came to me to fight for $500,000 and I know deep in my heart, I love smoking marijuana, I'll lie to you. I'll tell you, I'll stay clean I'll give it 10 days. I ain't gonna lie to you. But after 10 days, something's going to happen. I'm going to be fucking bored and it's all over. You know, and that's me. I just know you have to know yourself. I'm not mad at Nick, and Nick should be, everybody should know this. There's rules in the UFC. You're in the top echelon of your profession.
And it doesn't matter, like everyone's saying, like, oh, well, weed doesn't, it's not a real drug or whatever. That could be the case. But if you and I were this high in, I don't know, what state doesn't have medical marijuana? It doesn't matter. Or one of those states, and we got raided, we could go to jail. It doesn't matter that it's legal here. And
I'm going to go to jail here, too. They can do whatever the fuck they want. They
Right.
shoot people every fucking day, put a gun in your hand, and said you were a terrorist. They'll do whatever the fuck it takes to clear the fucking murder. You see it on TV. 8 people beat up a homeless dude. They held him down, a gun went. Are you fucking kidding me? They got to, so it doesn't matter.
Right.
They could have come in here right now and arrest us for that fucking edible and get us for possession of something else. It's not marijuana, edible. It's something completely different. You get busted one of those fucking vapor pens. It's not marijuana. It's a controlled substance.
Oh, Jesus.
So it becomes something completely fucking different. So thank God. Listen. Thank God that SAG doesn't have urine tests when I go to shoot a movie or a TV show, because I'd flunk all of them, but I know this going in. That's
Right.
the UFC. What did he think? That he was going to go in there and get a 9-month suspension? This is his third one, guys. That was Anderson's first one. Third one. You know what you're telling me when you fuck it up, something like that 3 times? Do you know what message you're sending me? What message are you sending me, Mike? I don't really give a fuck.
Yeah.
Mike,
At that point,
Mike, you booked Lee on the road for 6 weeks. Lee gets there late to 3 of them. What's he telling you? And you got him good money. What's he telling you? I don't want to do this. I'll find somebody who will. I'll find somebody who'll come here and fight and abide by the fucking rules.
Right.
For $500,000 fucking dollars.
And the frustrating part is, like, Mike could just get another, well, like, the person who isn't going to fight can go fight somewhere else, or the promoter can go get a different fighter, but someone in, like, Mike's position who is making money based on a deal, you still, like, I can't imagine what Nick Diaz's agent or manager or whoever was thinking. Like, I don't know, let's say if it was $500,000, he was going to get $50,000. He had $50,000 riding on that, and he doesn't know if his client's going to show up at all. Even, and then if he does,
You got to move in.
he's going to be high.
You got to move in and handcuff the motherfucker if you're getting 50 large.
Yeah.
You can't just sit back and go, well, I thought, no. And but you're a big boy.
Yeah.
In reality, I don't need somebody to move in. Hey, listen, when I was 27, I had a predicament. I had to pee in a bottle. Have you guys heard the stories of the shit I did? I used to pull my uncircumcised dick back, get pool cleaner, crush it up like salt, and put it in my dick, and put my uncircumcised dick skin back over it. And then I would pee and pull the skin back, and all the particles from the pool cleaner would close. And when I failed, the next time I used Drano. I used fucking Drano. My dick still has psychological and fucking meat scars on my dick. Thank God nobody ever looks at my dick. That's why when Rogan asked him, have you dated somebody who committed suicide? No, but if they suck my dick, they should kill themselves. Because that's got Drano on it, fucking Machunga juice.
How long were you sitting there with Drano on your dick? Like an hour? 2 hours? It must have been a while, right?
I would do it right away. So when I went in there with my dick, it would still be in chunks. Because if you
so
pee,
you knew when you had to take the test. Though.
you had an idea. I always had to prepare. If I got high on a Friday and I walked back in on a Monday with my record, they were going to pee test me. So my job was, I wasn't going to come back clean, but I was going to throw that fucking test off. I was going to blow up the computer. The last one I did was Drano. What's the shit you put? It was either Alka-Seltzer or Drano. And the guy put it on his desk. Okay, the guy would walk me into a room, watch me pee with the door open. I would take the bottle, pull the skin back, pee, and then the Drano chunks would fall into the pee. I'd cover it, give it to him with a glove on. He was walking with it. You could see the pink particles floating in this fucking thing.
And they never caught you?
He puts it on the table, and the thing starts shaking. You could see the thing go like it was like meth getting made. And he's like, so how you doing? What are you doing this weekend? Because he was like from somewhere in fucking Texas or something. And he doesn't even catch this. 3 days later, I get a fucking call, dog, you fucked up the computer done. Do you know how long I fucked around with those piss tests? You know how bad I was? But it didn't matter. I was put in a halfway house. I was given rules. I failed one time. I had my attorney. I had to pay my attorney like $4,000 to go in there and fight for me to put me in a non where you go spend the night at a halfway house, where you just go in from 6 to 9. And I got away with it. And I gave him another hot for touching it, because then I stopped snorting, but I was still selling it. So I would weigh the chunks and it would go through your skin.
So what about, so from Nick's perspective, you know that you've had 2 failed drug tests. You're going to lose 100 whatever grand, and you're going to be banned.
In my world, I was going back to prison, and I still got high. At least I am.
And what were you thinking?
With a wife and a baby.
Were you even thinking about it, or just
didn't give a fuck? Didn't give a fuck. So I understand where Nick is coming from.
So pretend I'm your friend back then. I'm like, hey Joey, you're in the halfway house. You shouldn't do this coke.
Oh, I'm not going to do it. This is going to be my last night tonight. I'm never going to do it again. I'm getting my shit together. I only did this because you called me up and said it was your birthday. I'm only doing this because of you. I'm only getting high because of you. I was home. I was going to stay home with my manager and write a script and shit. But you fucking called me up to do blow. Now you're fucking telling me about my daughter. What type of fucking enabler are you? Right away, I ruined the night. Right away, then I go, fuck you. Then you go, come on, don't be mad. I'll buy another 8-ball. Okay. Now I got my hooks in you, cocksucker. I always loved when somebody came and gave me the fucking whatever.
Right.
Because I flip it around. That's your addiction.
Yeah.
You flip. How dare you? What the fuck is wrong with you? I'm never talking to you again. Take your cocaine back. I was just kidding. Come on, keep it. All right.
So what do you think's in it for Diaz? Like, what does he need?
He's going to appeal it and then fucking hopefully get it knocked down to 2 years.
Couldn't he fight in a different state, though, or a different country? Or no?
I don't know what the rules are. I have no idea what the rules are. I think he could maybe wrestle. Didn't they say Chael Sonnen?
Maybe. Well, he's fighting Man Morris. I just saw the headline today.
Yeah, but that's like jiu-jitsu tournament. There's no striking and shit. I don't know if he gets. Yeah, I think he gets paid. I don't know what the rules are. They let him. He writes a letter or some shit. They don't test you in those tournaments. I don't think they test you in Men Morris. I'm not sure. Do not quote me on that. I'm a comedian, not a jiu-jitsu contest fucking rule maker.
Are there PEDs in jiu-jitsu?
I have no idea. I don't even know what fucking PED is.
Like steroids.
Everybody does steroids, except you and me and this fucking guy over here. You have to assume everybody does fucking steroids nowadays, or some form of something. Remember, there's people on anti-aging stuff.
Right.
You know, so there's everybody in Hollywood wants to live till fucking they're 100. So if I could sell you a fucking dream package that you're gonna live to 100, come in here every week, I'll shoot you. Just keep drinking water and eating the sushi at Sushi Dan, and everything will work out for you. You know what I'm saying? Whatever, Lee. Well, I don't fucking know.
It's just, I mean, he must have enough money. He must be doing something else. Because I was going to say it's too bad he's ruining a career, but...
Well, I think he trains people. Listen, they paid him $500,000 for 2 or 3 fights. He made some money to come back. They figured that would get him focused. Remember, he didn't show up to a fucking table reading. They pulled him off the fight, and they put him up against somebody else. And I like him. I love him and his brother. I'm fans. But this is the reality of it. You're at the top echelon of a league that's getting weirder and weirder every fucking day.
Right.
It's getting weirder and weirder. So why are people even, we don't know what's going on.
Isn't Nate not even fighting right now? He's like waiting for a better contract?
I have no idea. I wish I fucking knew.
How do you, Mike, I don't know what the word is, give your advice to a client who, because your money depends on them bringing money in, but then you want them, then they're like, oh no, I'm fine. I want to hold out, but then.
It's tough because you're dealing with an addiction, right? And like Joey said, they're professional liars at that point. They'll convince you and everybody else on how this is different, and you know, in the comedy space, it happens all the time where you'll deal with someone and they'll have a problem and they'll go to rehab and they'll come back and be like, hey, everything's great, let's hit the road, let's go tour, let's go do this, and you got to trust them, right? I mean, that's your guy, and they're telling you, hey, everything's fine, everything's great. I got it together. I'm going to meetings. Everything's fantastic. And they sound great. And then all of a sudden, you're hearing stories about...
They don't make radio. They got locked in the room.
But then there's an excuse. There's something that happened. Oh, they flight. My alarm didn't go off. And then they're good the next week. And then the week after that, you know, something else happens. And it's very, very challenging, especially when you care about these people. Like Joey said, there's only so much you can do. I mean, at the end of the day, they have to want to help themselves. I mean, look at like this is a perfect example. He had $500,000 going for one fight, and he still chose the drug over that. I mean, there's nothing any person can say. I mean, you can lose your family, you can lose everything for an addiction, and it happens.
Would you still work with someone who's been through a couple failed drug tests or whatever, or gone, like, at what point do you have to say I can't work with you anymore?
It's very tricky. It's a tough call to have, because you feel for them. It's kind of like asking a brother, when do you stop talking to your brother? He's disrespected you time and time again. He hasn't paid you back. He hasn't done this. It's any kind of addict is always a tricky situation. But there does come to a point for sure where you're risking your professional career and you're risking your reputation for them. And there does come a point for sure where you have to kind of have that conversation. Go, dude, I can't do this anymore. Like I don't trust you. And once that trust is gone, it's very hard to kind of bring it back. But I don't know, man. I don't have the answer on that one. That's a tough one. I've been through some pretty brutal situations where your heart gets ripped out and you don't know what to do.
Not even with the drug situation. Just, you must have clients who you're trying to guide in certain ways, and maybe the deal doesn't go well, and then you get fired, or it just, there's so much. It seems like there's so much that isn't even based on the job when it comes to that kind of relationship. It's like a lot of times it's factors that had nothing. It's like why professional coaches get fired a lot. Like they get the blame.
Yeah. It's but it's what you signed up for. I mean, we're the last ones to get credit for anything, even though it could be our idea or it could be us pushing you into something, and then it's always the act kind of getting 100% of the credit, as they deserve. And but you're the first one to get blamed if anything goes wrong. If a flight gets delayed, if a fucking club doesn't pay you, if any of that kind of stuff, you're always the first one to get blamed. But that's part of the game. And I think as long as the client knows you're doing the best you can, you're always going to get fired for no reason. You're always going to get you yelled at for something that had nothing to do with you. That's the name of the game. You got to develop a really thick skin.
Brass tacks, since we're on the subject, if I was doing what I did now and doing blow, we wouldn't be here, you and I. This would have been over a while ago. Especially those 6 a.m. ones.
Oh, yeah.
This wouldn't have happened. My road career would have been done.
Yeah.
After 90 days, True Colors would have came out. There's no way. There's no way. You have no idea what I went through from 2004 to 2006. I would cancel the morning up. I'd wake up and still be paranoid from the night before, and there was no way I was going to the airport. There was no way. Well, okay, Joey, but we just saw it. There's there's an 11 o'clock. You could still make it. It's not going to happen.
What would your excuse be?
I got a cold. I got arrested at the airport. I lost my license.
You got really, really good at making excuses, right? You're probably the best.
Oh, it was, and I was really good at booking myself.
Yeah.
And at that time, I had, in 2005, before The Longest Yard came out, my phone started ringing from a couple people. They all sucked. All sucked.
Yeah.
And then I bumped into Bill Burr on a plane, and he told me to call Mike Berkowitz. That's when they were with a different company.
Yeah.
Way before APA. And Mike Berkowitz threw me 3 weeks. But I knew people. So I was booking these B rooms, these C rooms, getting on a bad payday. I wouldn't show up. I wouldn't show up the day out. And I knew it. I fucking know it.
Even though you needed the money?
Even though I needed the money. I would wake up in the morning, look at the luggage and go, not today.
So here's a question. So what, is there anything anybody could have said to help you get there? Is there any, like, if you had, an agent, a manager, is there anything that anybody could have said on the phone to get you on the plane to go there? There's no way you're going. No, I don't feel good. I got up, I got the flu. I twisted my ankle. I went to the airport and I got arrested. Yeah. There was a bout where I had a bout with paranoia between the pills they were giving me at the doctors, the coke, and the years of abuse. I had gone into a different place in my mind, and it was
I didn't really give a fuck what anybody thought. I really didn't. I remember calling Rogan in the morning and going, call somebody else, and him yelling on the phone for 8 minutes and me just hanging up the phone and unplugging it. It's not going to happen. I'm not going to the airport. I'm too fucked up. I'm too fucked up. And don't get me wrong, I got on some planes fucked up on the way home. Oh.
Did you ever do that? Did you ever at like a place like out on the road not want to go back to LA, or did you always make that flight?
I always made that flight in the morning because I knew it was death. Except for the time I bought the 30 Valiums in Beaumont, Texas, and I started eating them on Thursday, and by Sunday morning I was incoherent. I got picked up Monday, taken to a hotel in Houston. The club owner of the lap stop said, just go to the Intercontinental and sleep. I slept at the Intercontinental from Tuesday, guys, to Thursday. The Valiums didn't wear off. You figure I had 30 times 10 milligrams of Valium in my system.
300.
I was 400 fucking pounds. Never did I break a sweat, only when I snorted blow. I did not drink water. I drank Coca-Cola straight out of a fucking can from the beginning of the morning to the end of the day. That Valium was going to sit in my system. And every time you lit a joint, the Valium restarted. I remember calling Mike Berkowitz and yelling, like, what the fuck? And I couldn't even talk straight. Still, my face was numb from the blow and the Valium. So, seriously, this is how fucked up I got. I went on the road to get fucked up. Yeah. Like, I went on the road to get fucked up. By the time I got to my destination, the packages were ready. The calls were made the night before. We were going deep. Houston, Dallas, El Paso, Miami, Buffalo. In fact, I was thinking of just calling to say hello. Jeff in Myrtle Beach.
Oh, yeah.
I love Jeff. That's my dog. Jeff and his wife at Myrtle Beach.
He's your drug dealer in Myrtle Beach?
No, he was the comedy club owner. He paid me $500, but I made $1,000 doing fake rentals.
What? Well, what's a fake rental?
You know, when you sign up and you sit there and take the ear beating for their fucking condominium to sign up, and at the end you get $75. I would sign up for 3 of those a day. What are you kidding me? I put earplugs on. I'd sign whatever the fuck you want me to sign. It was before 9/11. They weren't checking IDs. What are you kidding me? I was Joe Smith, John LaBamba.
They just give you $75 cash?
$75 cash. And they give you an ear beating for an hour and a half. Why you got to sign up? Let me go back and talk to my attorneys. I'm trying to loosen up this building in Manhattan.
Have you seen those signs around LA, like $99 round trip to Hawaii?
Yeah.
That's what that is. And apparently, because I went to go look, I was like, what is that? $99 round trip to Hawaii. Apparently, if you go as a couple, they'll turn to the girl and be like, why are you with this loser? He's not going to buy you a timeshare in Hawaii. But if you do it, you get $99 round trip airfare.
And that's after they fucking take your car keys and hide them. Oh, that's an ear beating and a half. They wouldn't fuck with me.
Do you think it's worth it?
If a blow in those days, $75, $75 for a packet, $75 to get my dick sucked, and $75 for some cocktails. What are you nuts? And I still walk out of Myrtle Beach with a nickel on fucking Sunday night. What are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Are you fucking kidding me? I'd get up early, all coked up, and go to that fucking bar. I'd like to buy a condom. What's your name? What's your present value? I think I'm worth about $80 million. I got a building. I want to hear your speech. I got a building I'm trying to move in Midtown Manhattan. I'm dropping the price from 11 mil to 9.5. But I'd like to buy one of these timeshares. Come on in. And I'd sit there and bullshit them, and I'd take their repeat. Sure, 8.9 percentages. I'd be dropping mortgages, international fucking yen fucking rates and shit. I get them all confused. And at the end of the day, 75 beans, cash and dollar. And then I walk down the block to the other suckers, tell them some fucking story. I'm a Chinese immigrant. I got property in Hong Kong. I'm trying to move them. I swear to fucking God, I did this every time I went to Myrtle Beach.
That's great.
And they loved it. Everybody was like, oh, and I just told all the comics. And all the comics started fucking doing it. What are you, nuts? What the fuck you think you're dealing with, Lisa?
How did you convince them to give you $75?
I didn't convince them. They convinced me.
Yeah, but if you're like, I don't live in Manhattan.
I went there.
My 75.
Listen, I went there one Christmas. The only time I could work the club is in the holidays because I was too dirty for the summer. It's too many white tourists.
Mm-hmm.
Jeff loved me. I knew Jeff from his Milwaukee days. They used to book Appleton. That's how long they've been in the motherfucking game. And his wife, she's a fucking knockout 20 years ago. She's probably still a fucking knockout. And then they said they broke away from that lady that used to book Milwaukee, that controlled that place, the gang place, the one that belonged to the bikers in Milwaukee. JD, he's gone now. 6'9", 300 pounds. When he paid you, there was a gun on the thing. All the doormen had suits, triple John Gotti suits. Everybody was a gangster. Big family dinner Thursday night. Big family dinner. He was the VP of like a big time biker gang. Wow. And the headquarters, they've been on Gangland, the whole fucking thing. This guy was huge.
And also owned the Chuckle Hut.
That was their front. Yeah. The condo looked like something from the fucking Munsters. The furniture was beige. People had come all over it. It was horrible. Then they also have the club in Appleton, the bikers. It used to be bikers that owned Appleton also. There were two biker brothers or something like that. I'm going back 20 years ago. Yeah. They ran that. The lady kind of went crazy, gave the business to her. She also booked Marquette University. I remember doing Marquette to her on a Tuesday night. They booked all that. They went to Myrtle Beach, bought a home, and opened up the Comedy Shack. The comedy, whatever the fuck it is. And they're nice people. It's just, they're nice, clean people. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I go down there and get fucked up down there. Those bars in the strip, the water's warm. Everybody plays golf. That's the other thing. Mm-hmm. Everybody goes down there, goes to timeshare and play golf. The question I wanted to ask you, Mike, that a lot of comics listen to this podcast, and I remember being a comic in this town. And you come to town, you get made a regular at the Comedy Store. I was very fortunate. I got made a regular a month afterward. Got here January, by February, I was in the store. Wow. A week later, I got made over at the Improv. The guy was a boozer, and he liked me. He used to sit in that thing up there in the little office and just get high and watch me. And one day, he goes calling me for spots. He started giving me 2 spots a week. So I was rocking and rolling. Jimmy Masada didn't like me, but Gilbert Esquivel booked Monday nights. Jamie didn't come in on Mondays. So Gilbert always gave me the 9:25 spot. Are you fucking kidding me or what? So I was rocking and rolling. So right away, you think you're making progress. And there was a company called IAG. And I'd walk in there with my manager, Ken Phillips. Ken Phillips was a genius. He got fired because he tried to send faxes on colored paper. He spent $100 of the company's money on yellow paper. Little did he know. You know what I'm saying? This guy was really money. Ken, did you call the fucking guy? Yeah, I called him. He hasn't answered the phone in 3 weeks. That's funny. He just gave me 2 weeks. He gave me Buffalo and Miami. I don't know what fucking line you're calling. I swear, I've been calling the guy. Tremendous. Yeah. So I had Ken, and I had Ken call around. And at that time, there wasn't a lot of booking people. In 98, you had the Wig, Richie Soups. I don't think Innovative was booking. I don't know who was CAA. Who was at CAA? Yes. I remember who was that. Oh, ICM had a booker. Mm-hmm. CAA had a booker. I don't remember who he was, but I remember the ICM booker. He's at another agent now. I remember that whole thing. And we went through all of them. There was a big booking agent who booked Carlos and somebody else, AJ Jamal, and a bunch of other guys at OI. And everybody passed on me. I was fucking heartbroken. Heartbroken. Hey, I'm a funny guy. I'm at the store 4 nights a week. I'm at the Improv too. You know, I'm featuring. I'm starting to headline. If you sign me now. Oh, DJ was over at the Feature Factory. That was the best agency at that time. If you were a feature, Omnipop. Because at that time, they were really booking features as headliners in small clubs. They were developing 20 guys, which was fucking genius. Half of those guys are still around today. Ian Bagg. I don't even remember the rest of them, but I see it around town. But he had a bunch of guys in those days that were really Tom Parker, Tom whatever.
Tom Hopper?
No, Tom somebody else from South Carolina, one in that area. He had a bunch of guys that were really features, and he was grooming them to headline for, and that was the only agency that did that. In those days, either you fucking were Wendy Liebman, or nobody else booked you. I didn't understand why I couldn't get somebody. I got a couple bites during the longest yard, but it still wasn't complete. When is it that a comic needs to start getting booked?
It's tricky. For me, I'm unique in the fact that I look for a rock solid hour. And then that's the bare minimum for me. So, I get all the time comedians that are very, very frustrated, and they come and think, I don't understand. I kill every single night. And I go, yeah, you're a professional comedian. That's the entry level to being a professional comedian. You should be able to be very, very funny for an hour. Now, what else do you do? Do you have the right look that can get cast in this TV show that's going to blow up? Are you writing screenplays? Are you doing a podcast? Are you going out there and hustling? Are you figuring out mailing lists? Someone who's willing to do the work that it takes. It was different a long time ago. It was different 15, 20 years ago when you could just do a Tonight Show spot and all of a sudden your calendar would be booked for the rest of the year. I've had a bunch of comedians that I've worked with who literally told me that exact story. I mean, who was Roseanne's ex-husband?
Tom Arnold.
Tom Arnold. Tom Arnold was telling me a story. I think he had 7.5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes material. He did one Tonight Show set, and he's never not had to work. He's never not worked from that moment on. Like his calendar's been full from the time he did the Tonight Show set. And that just doesn't exist anymore. I mean, there's so many more opportunities, so many more performers. So now it really is, okay, great, you're funny. What more are you doing? And I mean, I think you're the perfect example of a comic who was killing every single night and frustrated. Instead of waiting for some rep to come in and save the day, you took action and you built your own career. I mean, look at what you're doing now. You're spending time on a Monday night. Most comics right now are sleeping. They're at the store, they're watching Netflix, they're doing whatever. You're working. You're building a career. You're putting your time in. You're putting your effort in. And I think that always translates, especially now. So that's what I tend to gravitate towards, is those comics that are willing to do, okay, great, you're funny, but what else? There are other people that will just chase it. Hey, okay, you're a cute 21-year-old girl who's got 2 minutes. Let's see if we can cast you. And there is a business there for a small time, but really to build a long career, I think it has to be this. I think it has to be effort to be able to maintain it. Like we were talking the other day about Earth, Wind, and Fire, and their agent was telling me that it's like I can go put Earth, Wind, and Fire at Bonnaroo, and they'll walk away with thousands of new 20-year-old fans who had no idea who Earth, Wind, and Fire was. They still have it. They're still willing to go out there and work, and there's no ego in it. They're willing to go take an opening spot at Bonnaroo and just blow people away. And I just find those to be very cool, interesting stories. And a lot of comics get this ego. They get this, well, I'm past at the store, so I shouldn't have to do that. I'm the funniest guy in Kansas City, so I shouldn't have to start over. Fuck that. I don't want to do that. So there's not really one thing to do, but I would say, figure out what you're really good at on top of just being funny and use that as a resource. I mean, you're a fantastic storyteller, so the podcast was a perfect medium for you.
It was perfect.
Totally.
So it's 1995, gentlemen. I don't mean to interrupt you. It's 1995. I'm doing comedy 5 years. I'm doing comedy seriously between us at the table. I'm doing comedy with everything I got for 3 years at this point. The first 2 years, I was just wasting my time giving out business cards, telling people I'm a comedian, getting on stage once a month, going down there just to make a drug deal. You know what? I will meet you at the coffee shop. I go down there and do a spot. And I swear to God, it was like a part-time thing.
Yeah.
Then I realized effort has to be put into this, and that's when everything changed. So it's 1995. This was the formula. This was it. I know you're a young guy, Lee. You ready for the formula?
Mm-hmm.
You come to Hollywood. You get passed at the store, the Improv, or the Laugh Factory. You go there every fucking night, you bang it out. A manager was going to come up to you, and eventually an agent's going to come up to you. It's that fucking simple in those days. They come up to you, give you a card. 2 days later, you went in there for some bullshit. They were offering you water and giving you their spiel and saying you're their type, blah, 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 blah.
Didn't you tell me that people used to wait at the store with plane tickets?
This is this is 20 years before me.
Oh, okay.
I'm talking about 1990, my dream.
Okay.
This is what you had to do in 95. You had to come down here, do some spots, and then you had different paths. A, you could either go to Tonight Show path in that day and blast it that way, or B, you go to movie path, or there was another path.
TV.
Go to Montreal. Yep, the whole thing path. Now, here's what happens. Let's pretend you're not a Tonight Show guy, and you're not a whatever guy. But let's say you bust out in 6 episodes of the hottest show, Modern Family. This is 1995. You bust out in 6 episodes of Modern Family out of 13. There used to be 26, 13. You bust out in 6. In those days, your booking agent came into the store. I'd love to sign you. We'll get you out next week. And in those days, when a comedy club put from Modern Family, boom. They didn't give a fuck who the person was. That was the formula. If you recurred on one of those shows, then right from that recurring, you'd pop a special. Comedy Central, HBO, maybe Showtime in those days.
Yeah.
But it was that simple. That was the fucking formula.
That's all it took?
That's all it took. And then you went from there. Then you just got booked into different things. Sometimes you laid off. Sometimes they just threw you on the road. I didn't know the formula why they threw you on the road. Sometimes they threw you on the road. There was big money involved. I remember when I started, the guy with the smile, Bobby Collins, was very hot. And that day, the genius, Wendy, from the Comedy Works in those days, Monday night, she'd have Bobby Collins in there. And she would give him like 10 grand for 2 shows because of his search commercial. A fucking commercial that you knew he was Bobby Collins. You know, you guys were kids. You don't even fucking remember.
Yeah.
They were Bobby fucking Collins. So Bobby Collins is coming on high. I'm Bobby Collins for search. They keep my teeth white, and he'd eat a thing, and he'd smile. Bam! They put a fucking flyer up in every city. Bobby Collins is coming to town from the fucking search commercial. When I got here, there was 2 idiots on a McDonald's commercial. Scott something and some guy. They got a McDonald's commercial where the celebrities would walk in and they'd stop them with a hat on. That guy was on the road making fucking money for fucking ever. Because you made money from those things. That shit don't happen today.
Well, isn't that good in a way? To be honest, hasn't the quality of stand-up gone up?
It's forced it to, for sure. I mean, you can't really just get by based on a commercial. People figure it out. I mean, you know, Dustin Diamond's a perfect example of like, okay, you can have some fame, but people aren't going to come back the second time, the third time, the fourth time.
Unless you got the comedy
You have to have
chops.
the comedy chops.
That's where the comedy chops come in. When that little window opens up,
yes,
you better be ready. Because if they put you on the road, they're going to put you on the road for 45, then it's going to get out. And all of a sudden, you're going to have fucking, somebody opening up for you doing 15 just to kill fucking time. Then it's 15, and then you're off the fucking road.
And that happens. That still happens
all the
today.
time. Sure.
But, you know, that's why I always say, you know, once you have that rockin' hour, then it's, okay, what else do you have? You know, once you have that, because that's not a career, right? I mean, going on the road because of a commercial now, you might be able to fill seats, or you might, you know, if you get a arc on some big TV show, you'll fill seats for the first time in, but those people will tell their friends, nah, that guy sucks, don't go see him. And you want the opposite. You know, I'd rather sell 300 tickets a weekend than 400 tickets a weekend than 800 tickets a weekend, you know, and build it that way than kind of the reverse pop. So,
and then I don't know about you guys, but a couple New Year's, Rob Schneider headlined in Boston. And they always advertised it as like Rob Schneider from Deuce Bigalow, like whatever movie they were saying it. And even before I was ever into comedy at all, I was like, well, I don't want to go see him do Deuce Bigalow stuff. Like I think it might turn a lot of people away.
Well, that's what happened. I remember being in Miami and having a feature week and another feature week, and that third week Joe Rogan was walking in. I'll never forget this. This is big time. And he was Joe Morelli, whatever his fucking name was. He was there with Chris McGuire. He was now a big-time writer on all these little comedy shows. And I was there, and I said, fuck it, I'll stay in MC for you guys. And every night, somebody would pull him over and go, I am fucking blown away. The language was awful. You should be ashamed of yourself. And he would go, what's the problem? You know, I came to see Joe Gorelli, the goofy guy, you know, that boxes and stuff. Trust me, people sucked into that.
Yeah.
They thought they were coming to see that guy. Listen, when The Longest Yard came out, I remember a distinctive night. The guy now runs the small club in Atlanta. Nice guy. What's his name? He runs
Jamie?
No, the other guy. He runs the small club in Atlanta.
Laughing Skull?
He gave me a shot to come into his old club, a big club. And I'll never forget one night, I was walking in there, and this lady and her husband and their friend bought like a table of 8. And they're like, oh my God, there he is. And they hugged me, and they're like, you were in an Adam Sandler movie, we love Adam. That's why we're here. When I got on stage, I went to pass them. They sucked themselves in and looked the other way and would not touch me with their bodies. Like they were great. They thought I was going to go on stage and trip and break a guitar out and be like one of Adam Sandler's guys. And that's when I realized I got to find a way to let these people know who I am. This was the whole thing. That night always stuck with me. Yeah. And then I went to see The Wrestler. And the reason why I went to see The Wrestler on the first night, which how long we've been hanging out?
4 years.
You ever see me telling you I'm going to movies, standing on line? I don't give a fuck.
Every weekend.
No, Wrestler.
This is all an act.
Wrestler came out at 11:30. I was there at 11:15.
Yeah.
With 80 other people. And each of them was saying, I've been waiting for this movie for 8 months. So was I. And I started thinking, how did people know about this movie 8 months before it fucking came out? That kept me awake for fucking 6 fucking days. I wanted to know how people knew this was coming out. Did they leak it on YouTube? Because I didn't see it. Somebody had told me, and I went on the computer page and I saw the hidden trailer or something like that.
That's it. So they didn't promote that The Wrestler was coming out?
No, what I'm saying is that I knew it was coming out 6 months before, so it got me very excited. Now you go see a fucking movie, it's coming out 2 months later, we find out about it.
Right.
I found out about Black Mass when I went to see Mad Max. That's fucked up, right? Black Mass, Mad Max. So it was 2 months ago. The Wrestler, I knew it came out in December. I was talking to somebody about it in July, and they were telling me that he was training, that this is the fucking movie, that it's a low budget. That's why he's going to be really good. Make sure I fucking saw it. That somebody saw a screening of it and came out crying. That word got out. That's a powerful word. Remember when you and I had a discussion about 1975? When we first met, we got really high one day, and I gave you chills because I started telling you about Boston.
And like Aerosmith.
I started telling you about marketing. I started telling you about the Boston Red Sox and the Boston Bruins and the Boston Celtics and whatever else was going on in Boston. But here's these 5 little dirty white dudes from Quincy or wherever the fuck they're from, and they're making the national headlines. There was no Twitter. There was no Facebook. Newspapers didn't call other newspapers and say, do a write-up. Word of mouth was very big. I wanted to know how to get word of mouth because that's the one that people trust the most, of course. Because when I look at you in the office and go see fucking Sebastian.
That's how podcasts got promoted. That's how I found out about them. Word of mouth. There's no advertising for podcasts. I heard the first one the other day. Jimmy Pardo did one. He had he was a spokesman for like AutoZone and said, listen to whatever his podcast is. But like the only way I ever found out about podcasts was Facebook and then people in my office.
It's just
same thing happens for comedians. Right? Yeah. I mean, look, Bill Burr's a perfect example of that. Of a guy who built it just based off of people telling their friends, you gotta listen to this thing. This thing's amazing. And then putting out quality hours. I mean, you're no different. You know, think about what you've built on the road. And
but here's the funniest thing, and I've had this discussion with you. Yeah. My agent signed me to do comedy. I was doing comedy 20 years. I had an hour just being me, but I was not really a headliner. I really wasn't ready. I remember those first couple of weeks I went out. Yeah. I was really having a rough time with people who had come to see me from listening to the podcast. They were still like, ugh, this isn't. It took me a while to flow it. And then I think it was like in Kentucky that when I got off, I said, I'm a fucking headliner. I just balanced these guys. I knew what material I hit them with. I was very prepared. But it took me a while. And I've been very honest about it. Yeah. You know, I remember Columbus didn't hire me for a long time. I said,
pretty well. I awoke and none of my bots were working, which is the norm. They normally don't work like without any kind of babysitting just because somebody's going to ban them. So once they get banned, as I previously said, I really have a way to make them work so that they just work all the time and they're completely autonomous. But for some reason, the program doesn't want to do that. It's like it's an infinite loop when I program it that way, and it can cause some issues. Just a moment. All right, can you hear me better now? Okay. I see that. I'm psyched about it. Okay, well that happens. No, dog. I mean, that's a compliment in most places. Absolutely. My goal is just every day when I look at when I go to Discord and I look at members, just more and more members. So we got 4 members since I last looked at it, and these are legitimate members. They're not like Rabbi's bots. So that's tight. I invited a bunch of people from Harry Potter, Obama Sonic 10, you know.
I booked a show on Telemundo for $1,000. I went down there and I was a Cuban doorman. I book it. In those days, you had AFTRA and SAG. I was AFTRA. It's the hottest Spanish show on Telemundo about Cubans, a Cuban-American family in Burbank. And it shoots in Burbank. I fucking go up there, dog, report on time, rehearse. They go, all right, let's go eat lunch. I'm in my car, the phone fucking rings, the pager goes off, I go call. They fired me. They just didn't like my Spanish. They didn't like me at all. They were two different listeners.
So what did they cast?
There's jungle Cubans and there's decent Cuban. I'm a jungle Cuban. Because I fucking knocked the audition out of the hotel. But it didn't matter. They paid me and they paid for my after. Who's better than Uncle Joey? You understand me? So I'm cooking with gas. I'm figuring I'm going to do something. Guess what show becomes the hottest show on TV? The Sopranos. Now everybody's doing Soprano spots. Guess what? Boom, Mad TV got a sketch. I get up at fucking 9 o'clock, coked up to the gills. I got 19 messages. Every fucking agent, friend, assistant, comic that got breakdowns. That was the big thing. Call me up, Joey. Dog, I walked to fucking Mad TV, you know. Walked in there with my headshot. People were looking at me. This is before 9/11. People were looking at me like,
hey, did you hear allegedly? This is from Twitter that Donald Trump picked a running mate. Donald Trump. General Mike Flynn. Yep. I don't know how much it's going to help him, but we'll see. It looks like it's official. At least it's on that guy's Twitter. Hold on a second. I may be wrong here. He put out a statement. There's some kind of something that was filed with the federal government that has his name on it. But then he at least endorsed him. That doesn't mean anything, though. Anyway, it might be too early to tell, but it'll be an interesting pick. Again, I don't know if it really makes a difference, but it's kind of like the last puzzle piece before the election.
Do you guys follow me? I'm not throwing a pity party here. I'm just telling you what my reality was. That I was attaining the goals I was told to attain, that I would start fucking blossoming. Nothing.
My cousin went to Ithaca Film School right at the end of tape, and went to digital, and he wasn't in the industry. So it sounds like you just at the end of an era, sort of. I guess it kind of hurt you, but not really.
Who the fuck knows? Boom! NBC is doing a show about a family of lawyers. Now, first I'm in a pilot. I'm a bartender in a pilot. A CBS fucking show that it was supposed to go up against NYPD Blue.
All right, I retract that. That might be too soon to tell.
You have no idea. Like I was going to, and I was going, what the fuck is going on here? All these people at the store popping deals, and their shows are getting put on. I pop a fucking CBS pilot, and I'm gonna be like an 8 out of 12. And now I'm fucked. They're not doing it. Then I booked this other pilot at NBC about 6 lawyers that lived in a house. I was gonna be a recurring maintenance man, dog. And I find the pound. I'm a plumber, and I'm fixing the pipes. And what do I find? The walls, 30 pounds of pipe. So now I'm part of a conspiracy. It's Belafonte's daughter, and it's somebody else's son. The show comes out of the fucking gate. It's going to blow up. I'm in episode 6, 8, 9, and 10. Somebody else was making a comeback. I still see him around town. He was in episode 6, 8, 9, 12, and 13. We're all waiting to be big stars. The show gets canceled. Episode 5, Lisa. Oh, now it was just weird that the evolution of this fucking thing. Like I did then The Longest Yard. Let's cut through this. I came out with Spider-Man 2, then The Longest Yard. The Longest Yard started getting me people, but I Adam Sandler's name. And they would come in and run out of there like I was Godzilla. And I'm not lying. There was no pictures then. Nobody wanted to take pictures. They come over, ask me questions about Adam Sandler. But I wasn't going to. Trust me. I used to read this thing. People were like, fuck that guy. He's up there rapping on stage, and you could see shit's coming out of his nose. And it was horrible.
So anyone who came to your show was like the club giving away tickets? Or just random?
The only place I sold tickets at that time was Houston, Texas. Houston, Texas had a tremendous comedy scene, and they supported up-and-coming guys. Babbitt was the genius of bringing Hedberg, and I'll never forget, like Hedberg was just starting to blow up, and the kid had just lost his show on NBC, but he was still funny as hell. In fact, I called him today. We were at the store that night. Tom Rhodes. And one day I'm talking to Babbitt. He goes, I'm bringing Tom Rhodes in here with Mitch Hedberg to co-headline. That's like Ali at the time, and fucking Joe Frazier coming to your fucking bar and having a drink with you and snorting blow. I never heard of that before. Doug Stanhope taped the CD there. Rogan taped the CD. So people would just come there on the strength of the fucking club. And if you drank on stage and were getting fucked up, you were selling out.
Wow. So you people would come back for you every time you went?
Yeah, in Houston. I started building a market, but then the club went out of business. And everything fell apart in Houston. Which was good because I started staying in more and focusing on film. But it's just weird that this whole thing started. The reality of this podcast thing, for me, this thing started on the Rogan podcast and then went on Beauty and the Beast when I told the story about mugging the hooker.
Yeah.
When I went down to that comedy club that night, and there was 100 people there, and the owner called me and said, he goes, there's 100 people here on a Sunday night. And they paid. And I'm like, you bullshit. And he paid me my money. He gave me a door deal and everything. I was blown away. This all started. So this is why this is the weirdest thing ever. So I never thought I'd get booked or never thought, but this all started by just telling people stories and telling them the truth. And that's it. You know how embarrassing when you mug somebody or that you went to jail? You know how embarrassing that is?
How different is your set now versus when The Longest Yard and all those things?
Oh my God. All right, The Longest Yard, I've been doing comedy now for 13 years or something like that. 91. 91 is 9 and 5 is 14. I was at the store. I was following good people, but I was just telling jokes. You know what I'm saying? I would just go up there.
Do you remember any of them?
Like, no, they were so bad. They were so bad. Then Whitney Cummings produced the special about 5 or 6 years ago when Whitney started getting big. She blew up. She produced a series on Showtime about comedians. Short-lived, 6 episodes. I don't even remember who was on except one particular guy. And I was doing coke in my bathroom with the door open, listening, taking a shit. Just doing little bumps. My wife was out, whatever, and I'm doing little bumps. She wasn't my wife at the time. Listening to this guy, and that's when I realized how bad I was. I knew I had to do something different with my act because he had the same sort of. He's not around no more, so I was correct. He's doing something completely different now. But me listening to that guy, I was like, me and him are not the same. This is horrible. This is Rodney watered down. Doing something else. Do you know what I'm saying? It was just really weird. And then at the time, I was writing stories. And one night I popped one of them on stage. And I realized how intense I had the people. I had the people locked in somewhere with my comedy. I'd never locked people in before.
Had you prepared the story or just you went into it?
I wrote the story like 2 days before. And I was on stage dying somewhere. As usual, I was on stage just fucking dying somewhere like a flappers. And I busted a story and I saw the effect. And then Ari, something happened. And I went down to the Improv. And it was Mark Maron way before the fucking show, guys.
Yeah.
The podcast was just getting started. Maybe a year in, a year and a half, maybe 2 years. And I went down to the Improv because Ari was going to do a show about telling stories.
It's a Pink Floyd story, right?
The Pink Floyd. But here's the beauty of it. And this is us as family because I'll tell you, mother, and you know it. Do you think when I drove there, I was going to tell the fucking Pink Floyd story? What the fuck do you think? As my fucking Jew brother here on Rosh Hashanah, a big shout out to all the Jews that are listening right now. You know, you're my people deep down inside. Fuck these Gentiles. When this shit is over, I'm going to Israel with you motherfuckers. You understand me? And that's between us. Don't tell these other people. Fuck them. Listen to me.
You didn't. I don't think you knew until you started. I don't think you might not have even known until you started saying something. I swear to my daughter Mercy Diaz that when I walked into that Improv that night, I was telling a story about something completely different. And somebody was up there and they said something, and I go, wait a second, what am I going to go up there with that shit for? I'm just going to go off the cuff on the fucking stupid Pink Floyd night with Lubes and Joe Focaraccio, and that's what happened. And somebody sent it to me, and I don't want to watch that shit. And then somebody put it on MySpace or one of those. It was that long ago?
Yeah. And we clicked on one day. I was high, and I watched the first 2 minutes. And I got to tell you, I was blown away. I was embarrassed. I turned it off. But I couldn't believe how I was saying the story. And I had fucked up at places. I know I told like he was a Marine. I had fucked up at places, but I still told the story.
So how long have you been doing comedy the way you're doing comedy now at the store?
5 years.
That's it?
4 years. But the last year has been something completely different. Once I went back to the store.
So right around the time we met, that's crazy.
That lit the fire under my ass. I'm a different comic than when I started hanging out with you than what I am today.
So that's interesting, right? If you think about that, and you are. I mean, what you're doing on stage right now is brilliant.
It's completely, it's not brilliant. It's completely fucking different.
I think a lot of people think it's brilliant.
No,
it's very, very funny. Let's put it that way. But that's a good thing to kind of bring up, right? I mean, you had these things, you had these TV shows, you had The Longest Yard, but there was a reason that people weren't coming after it, right? There's a reason, and I think it was because of what you're doing on stage, And if you look at what's happened to you, I hear so many comedians that just go, I should be out there hustling. I should be talking to agents more. I should be, sending my demo reels or my headshots to William Morris or anything. And I keep telling them, like, guys, there's a lot of people who get paid a good amount of money to go find you. They will find you.
And I was gonna say, how often, like Joey was saying, he sends out a lot of resumes. How often, every week, how many submissions do you think an average agency gets? Thousands?
Oh my God,
so many. And I feel so bad. I mean, it's such a waste of money and time and resources. And this is, what Joey and I were kind of talking about. We wish we could just tell these communities, like, just focus on your craft. Like, trust, when the time is right, we will find you.
That's right. A conversation you and I had.
Yes.
Because you and I don't lie to each other, and I don't lie to Lee either. Now, let me tell you the other side of this story.
Mm-hmm.
This is where opportunity meets whatever. Joe Rogan's my brother. I've been running with Joe since 1998, since News Radio. When fucking Fear Factor premiered, I was in New York with him. He bought a Samurai on 48th Street. Who stops in New York City? And what? Listen to me, motherfuckers. Okay? The summer of Fear Factor, we're walking down Manhattan. He's there to announce it. I'm going to go do some other fuck work job. But he calls me, he goes, come with me, keep me company, let's go. I'll pay for it. I go, fuck yeah, let's go to New York. What the fuck? We're walking down Broadway. He's in a store buying a Samurai. On the fucking thing, it's Fear Factor with his picture.
Like a samurai sword?
A samurai, like some statue of a fucking Chinese guy with a hat. That his eyes would blink, okay? He's in there going, Joe, you got to look at this fucking thing. And I'm in my mind, where are you putting this? He goes, what do you mean where I'm putting this? On my front door. The eyes will glow at night. I'm figuring if I can put eyes on it. So anyway, I go outside. I got a page. I got $3 in my pocket that I stole from the maid when she wasn't looking. Like, that's how broke I am. Do you understand? Like, seriously, I'm telling you guys the truth. But Sopranos is the hottest show. Here's Joe Rogan talking to me on Broadway with his billboard flashing on 42nd Street. But people asking me for my fucking autograph because they think I'm a big pussy. How fucking crazy is that?
That's why.
Now, let's talk about Joe. Joe was on News Radio. He went out there for peanuts. There were times they would call him for a replacement gig, and he would lose money on the plane ticket and what they were paying him in the beginning. And people coming out to see him from News Radio. And there was like a year lapse. Once he got on Fear Factor, people started coming out by the droves. And I guarantee, like a lot of other people, a lot of people left there very disappointed. They thought it was going to be a quirky host. They ran into a good comic. And somebody who talks about politics and icebergs and rocket ships and is very intelligent in his material. But he kept half that audience. And then when that show ended, he did something else. Then he got the UFC. And he's built that. He's built that audience over the fucking years. Now, I've known Joe since 98. I've opened for Joe in every fucking improv in the country. But guess what? Guess what, guys? I did something that I did not know I was doing that I heard somebody else was doing. I heard that Dane Cook answered people. But all of a sudden, Dane Cook became a star on MySpace. And all of a sudden, against my will, you know me, I didn't even want to text. At that time, I was the last one to hold out for a fucking cell phone. I didn't go for a cell phone until 94, baby. I'm not going to lie to nobody. I held on to that red page. That thing went underwater. That thing had blow on it, acid. I had minerals. I shoved it up the chick's pussy. That blow, that page, it was gold. Every time I went out with Joe, I would do blow, and I'd go back to my room. Even when I lived on Schrader, and people go, friend you, and said, we saw you at Joe's show. This is 8 years ago, and I would friend those people and say, thank you for coming out. All those people I friended, I guarantee 10% are still lingering around somewhere or another. Because I had the opportunity to go on the road with a guy that was drawing more than I could ever in my life dream. But I would always prepare those sets. This is my chance. to go. This is the All-Star game, and I got a fucking chance at back. These people don't know I've been to prison. These people don't know about addictions. These people don't know I can't do planes. One time I left my luggage and walked out of the airport and got arrested at LAX. I was so paranoid on cocaine for the night before. I got no reason to lie to nobody in this room. And here I'm getting a shot. There were nights I'd go to the comedy store and leave. I don't know what the fuck I'm saying. But when I would do those Joe Rogan sets, I would sit down while they were out doing push-ups and shit. And they thought I was in my room doing blow. I was writing the craziest shit I was going to write in my life and say it. And guess what? Out of those 1,200 people, I made 30% of those people my fucking people that now listen to the podcast. Do you understand me? I was very intelligent. And when they moved to Facebook, they came with me to Facebook. Now I answer them. And now they came to Twitter. And I know comics get sent messages on Twitter. Guess what? I'll answer them. If I see the fucking thing, I'll talk to you back and forth. If I'm on there, rocking and rolling. If somebody says they came to the show, they bought tickets, ask them. I say thank you, and I'll see you there. That's an extra move. So over the years, that gift, that's the gift that I didn't do before. I thought, oh, I'm on a TV show. Call the fucking club. You know, call ICM. Tell me Joe Diaz got 40 and he's on a TV show. No. I had to work it from the other end. Yeah. Where's fucking Tony Bennett? What are we looking at me? Oh, weird. Big motherfucking Mike in the house tonight. Lisa, yeah, how you feeling, buddy? You want to eat this little purple dot?
No.
It's only 10 milligrams.
I've had 325 milligrams.
Stop lying to the
I'm not lying. Show the rappers. All of a sudden, the rappers don't have labels on them. The one-eyed Jew doesn't use labels.
This ain't the one-eyed Jew. I bought this from the Russians. See? You give out information that's not yours to give out. Why are you throwing the one-eyed Jew into this conspiracy? Why are you throwing the one-eyed Jew into this fucking conspiracy?
What's the show? We gotta get some credit somewhere.
No, but you can't mention. He's at home right now, fucking smoking opium, getting his dick sucked with a bagel. You know, whatever the fuck they eat on New Year's, gefilte fish, or fucking white fish, or whatever the fuck they eat. Anyway, you know I love you, Jewish people. Happy New Year to you, and hope it's a better New Year, and you make more fucking money, and you take over. And we'll start a little neighborhood in Cuba. We'll fucking rendezvous in Havana. What's up, ball sniffer? You felt good today, didn't you? Uncle Joey took you at 10 in the morning. You rolled around. Men sweated on you. They choked you.
Today was like the first day I did the elliptical. I went home and I just fell asleep.
Good. You deserve it.
I couldn't help it.
Fucking great today. You were sweating. You was drenched.
It was tough. It's hot.
In my leg.
No, I cut my toenail.
That little fucking Auschwitz foot right in my fucking leg. I had him in a half guard, and he fucking put his toe in there and broke the fucking half guard. His toe got right in there. He has one of those little Jew toes. One of those little New Year's toes.
What did he say? Like the foot that kicked Jesus or something?
Yeah.
Remember the whole jiu-jitsu class? You got the foot that kicked Jesus.
You know how we do it. Yeah, that's your. I'm telling you, you have an uncle. He was there when they were kicking Jesus. Those Jew feet. You can tell when they're related to somebody who was kicking Jesus. Pontius Pilate went around and got people like with feet like it. He said, "We gotta do a good job." People kick Jesus. Why they come up with that one? I
don't know, Jesus. But it was fun. I'm really liking the small class. And then Nick, we had him on the podcast. He was one of the guys who did the stick fighting.
Sure.
He's fucking crazy. And it's
you're looking better already. Your hair's growing. You're growing it back. Yes,
I wish.
Fuck alopecia. You're doing this.
I took that when I was young, like 12 or 14. But then they came out with this. It had like the side effects, so we stopped.
What are the side effects?
You can't get a hard on.
Fuck that. You can always get that little stubby hard and shit.
Little.
What does that say to you?
Did you just fall asleep?
No, I'm not falling asleep. I'm fucking gonna say something to him. I had a brain fart. It happens at this time of the night. I mean, now, in this market today, let's be honest, beside the Chelsea Handler people who were talking, it's very tough to just be on TV and attract people. And I know Anzi Ansari's one of them that's been on TV. He's got a couple specials.
But it's transferred. It's over now. It's over to the internet. People do that. Like the Vine stars and YouTube stars are doing that. They just, have you seen like right at the freaking Comedy Store? That YouTube guy has a billboard on that hotel.
I don't know.
So I think that's what it's transferred to.
Yeah, but even that's very difficult. I mean, it's very, very hard to break through. You have to be great, you know, to be able to really sell tickets. You have to be, if you want to do it for the long term. I mean, you can have a pop. People that are mediocre, they come up with some kind of catchy video or some song or some bit that blows up. But in order to maintain it, you have to be great. You have to constantly work, and you got to be doing exactly what you're doing. You got to be at the store, at the Laugh Factory, you know, at the Comedy Cellar, at the Stand in New York. I mean, you know, you have to be at these places constantly writing and you know, really taking that approach of doing a new hour every year and a half, something like that.
It's not even about the hour, Mike. It's about evolving.
Exactly.
You know, I go out sometimes and I'm embarrassed. I got white fucking hair. And I'm standing next to 25-year-olds. I could be their uncle 2 times.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you're embarrassed. You're like, what the fuck are they coming here for? What, don't they know? Don't they have an idea? And in this, what we're doing now, you have to open up yourself. Listen, a great example. Last Comic Stand. First 3 or 4 seasons, everybody who was associated with the show did great. The ones who stayed out there were the ones that had been doing comedy for a while.
Right.
And even then, you know, Ralphie May is a great example. When was he in Last Comic Standing? 22 fucking years ago? He's still out there banging it out. There's reasons for that. He was always a great comic. When he got on there, he was just at his real peak of busting the fuck out there. So he's built that fan base over the fucking years. But a lot of them, you don't even hear from no more.
West Side Game's the greatest pimp of all time.
Only a few that I can think of.
And I love those guys. I have tons of friends that won that fucking show.
Well, not even
Eliza Schlesinger was a winner. She's still out there banging it out.
Yeah.
Who else?
Felipe.
Our buddy, the black dude that moved to Arizona, came back. He's hosting the show now. Alonzo Bowden was a finalist. Rich Voss is still out there from time to time, torturing people. I love that motherfucker. I see him in the store and he was leaving. I wish we could get him on the podcast for some laughs. There's still a lot of guys that maintain because, at the end of the day, when you go on a Friday night, these guys deliver. I've always believed in, you know, you come to the fucking show. Listen, I'm not going to lie to anybody in this fucking room. I wish I was still a feature act. I wish I could go into a club, let Lee do 10 minutes. The bartender comes over, slips a package in my hand. I give him $40. I put it in my top pocket in case the cops come. The MC does 10 minutes. Guess what? Uncle Joey goes up there, does 30 minutes of material in 22. So they don't stop fucking laughing. I get off the stage. Thursday night, I do a couple bumps. I'm out of there. It's off me. It's off me, guys. I don't give a fuck what happens the rest of the night. You think I give a fuck if that guy could follow me or not? After a while, I learned that I was part of a show. Right. But I was a feature for fucking, 18, 19 fucking years. I know how to fucking feature. You want me to do 30 minutes, I'll do fucking 24. Watch, you better open up the fucking door. Because I'm going to come out of there like a barracuda. I got nothing to lose. I just go straight and I get the fuck off stage and I go get my dick sucked and do blow. Once you become a headliner, it's a complete different responsibility. I wish I could still go out and do 20 minutes and not give a fuck whether they laugh, don't laugh, drink, don't drink. I don't give a fuck. But to become a headliner, it takes something else. Now you have to start caring about them. Even when I went on the road as a headliner for years, do you think I gave a fuck about them? I wanted to go out and do blow. I don't give a fuck about these people, whether they like me or not. I'm getting a paycheck. The bartender, he's Mexican. He's already got his cousin over here on a bicycle. You know what I'm saying? I got sleeping pills in the room, and this little waitress says she likes to party. You think I'm worried about these people? I'm not even going to come back here next year. I'm going to be on a TV show next year. That's what I would tell myself. Fuck these people. But for me to go out every week and maintain it, I got to fall in love with the audience. I got to keep writing, and I got to keep evolving. Listen, some people can write really fast. Some people can't. I know if I give you a quick 20, take a picture with you and give you a hug, we're straight. We're straight. We have a good time. We laugh. Next time you see me, I have a new fucking 40. That's just the way life the fuck is. Maybe not. Maybe I have a new hour 10. If you know me, I'll have an hour 10. But who the fuck knows?
Yeah, but a year later, most of it will be new. Did you see that Kevin Hart just filmed a special at Eagle Stadium?
Yeah. You know, when I went out with Joe Rogan, Mike over here told me a story about Kevin Hart. Tell him what happened with Kevin Hart. Tell him what happened with Kevin Hart. I'm going to equate it to what I do with Rogan. Tell him.
It was such a great, the way he built that whole thing. He talks about it on the Marin podcast. And I want to say it was Soul Plane, one of these big movies that he had that just kind of came out and he thought that was going to be it. And
done. That movie.
And it just tanked. It just didn't do anything for it. And he calls his agent at the time and he goes, put me in every single club. I don't care how much money I make. Every week. I want to be on the road every single week. And he goes, tell him to just fill the room. Just comp it out. Fill. I want every fucking seat packed. And I'm going to turn those people into my people. So you go to the Houston Improv or whatever, and he'd go, just fill it. I don't care who they are. I don't care if they've ever heard of me or whatever. I'm going to put on such a good show and that they're going to become my people. And he would kill it. And he did, you'd have 300 or 400 people in the audience that wouldn't know who he was. They just signed up for, a free ticket for something. Hey, let's go to a comedy show. Great. This guy has you know him from Soul Plane. He had enough credits that people would come in and see him. And he would sit there after every show with a clipboard. And he would just get email addresses from every single show. And it turned in from 2,000 a weekend to whatever it was, 5,000. And he started building that audience. And he kept doing it on time and time again. Kept writing, kept hustling, and built it. And basically got to the place where he could go to a studio and say, hey, if you want my fans that I now control and I talk to on a regular basis, you're going to pay me whatever it is, $1 million a movie. I don't know how much money he makes a movie, but I would imagine it's probably around, a couple $1 million a movie. And he did that because he built it all himself. No different than what you're doing or what, Dane Cook did at the time. And that's such a good story for every comic to sit there and go, okay, instead of waiting for Hollywood to come around, instead of waiting for the right role to come around, I mean, this was his role. I mean, that movie was supposed to be everything. And instead of just sitting there and bitching and whining, he goes, put me on the road. Let's go. Let's go hit it. And he created his own opportunity. And he did it by working his ass off. And that's something that every comedian out there can do. And it's one of those things, I hear it all the time where, they go, oh man, I'm killing, I don't understand. And it's like, okay, but are you talking to these people? You go play a club. I remember the best story, Joe. I think I told you this. My roommate at the time, it's a while ago, he started dating this new chick. And this girl goes, oh, I've never been to a comedy show. And I go, great, go to the Improv, tell them my name, and you'll be fine. They'll take care of you, the whole thing. And she calls me afterwards. She goes, that was one of the best nights of my life. And she's giving me the headliner's material. She's telling me these stories and the jokes and the whole thing. And she's like, I love this guy. He was so funny. And I go, that's great. Who was it? And she goes, I don't know his name. I forgot his name, but he was so funny. And I go, my God, Joey, this is what's happening to so many of these comics out there. They're going out there and, they're being funny, but they're not doing anything. They're not talking. They're not going out there. I mean, all those little tiny things that you can do. They're not collecting an email address. They're not putting out an album. I mean, one of the things I keep trying to kind of educate people on is, we should be giving this audience things every single time. So if you really are that funny as a comic, if you really are that great, go record an album for $300 and give it away to people in exchange for an email address. Give them a podcast every single week where you can show your point of view and go out there and do it. There's no need, with how easy it is. There's no need to sit back and wait for Hollywood to find you. It just doesn't make any sense. And that's just not a way to make a living. You're waiting for some casting director to decide, whether your eyebrows fit this role or not. That's I don't know.
It's a complete different game.
It's a complete different
Mike,
game.
it's a complete different game. I went to a place today, and I know the girl's an actress, and she works. And okay, I'm an old man. I don't expect to go out every week. This girl, not only is she young, she's a fucking knockout. Because I haven't been out in 4 months. She told me the agency, the big time agent, 4 months she hasn't been out.
To an audition.
Yeah. Things aren't what they used to be anymore. They have too many different markets where they're shooting. I don't know what
But here's the beauty, right? So what is she doing? And this is always my kind of question. Okay, is she Is she going to the UCB? Is she going to Groundlings? Is she going to acting classes and doing the right thing? Is she doing internet sketches with her friends? Is she doing Funny or Die videos to be seen out there? I mean, there's always something that somebody could be doing, right? Maybe she is and she's just not getting love. But if you really are that talented and you really are capable of booking something, it'll come. You just got to put yourself out there. You know, that's the one that I've never seen anybody that's that funny that hasn't gotten.
You see what happened last week?
With what?
That chick with the fat shaming video.
Right. Yes.
Okay. Let's throw it on the table. You know what her mistake was? She didn't have a podcast. If I put that video up next week, nobody would say boo, because I'm a fucking fat guy. And what I'm telling her, well, she was saying, she made great points. I'm not going to sit here and tell you she didn't make, but the way she did it.
So let's say,
the way she did it, if she would have had a following, that would have went a complete different way. If she would have had an internet big time following. I don't know how many hits the video got. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about.
Well, what do you think would have happened if, like, because her thing is she's being mean to fat people. Like, let's say you were making fun of, like, it was a racist thing. Do you think it would still be okay?
If she did it?
And if you did it? Like, I'm trying to think of the equal amount of, like...
It's got to come up. It's got to come up with somewhere. No. So what's she going to do now? She going to go on the road from that video? You think somebody called? Do you think fucking...
No, I don't think
she called her and said, we're taking it on the fucking road. We're going to get 10% of the hits on YouTube.
I haven't actually seen it, but I heard it's not that funny.
It's edited.
Yeah.
So that's where you lose me.
Yeah.
When you're a comic, throw that motherfucker at Uncle Joey.
Yeah.
When me and Lee tape, I fuck up, we start from scratch. That's why you do comedy. That's why you do fucking comedy. Well, they're all comedians. That's what people have. That's what gets under my skin. Not only am I a comedian, I've done comedy in Buffalo and a bus theater and a bus station in Albany. There used to be a bus station in Albany that Yoder used to fucking book.
What?
A bus station on like Thursday night.
What about the lockers?
You gotta go. Give me a couple minutes. Yeah. What?
Like, where would you do comedy at the bus
Inside,
station?
there was a bar. Okay? And you would spend the night in Albany, like down the corner of the hotel.
Right.
Fucking craziness. And then you went to Buffalo. And then the guy that used to book Buffalo was Rob Liederman at the time. And he had a bar. And at the time, there was a bar in North Tonawanda that was it wasn't, maybe not, but I know that this Rob Liederman's bar, the comedy place, was in North Tonawanda. And he would pack it in there, bro. He would pack it in there, Mike. I mean, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, with nobody. Yoda people, 800 a week, pack them in, 20 at the door, eat pizza. The guy had a scam. Guess what he did in the daytime? He was on the radio in Buffalo. So the place was always fucking sold out.
Because he had a free advertisement.
Free advertising, he was the man. Don't forget to come down tonight. He had you on the radio Friday morning and Thursday morning if you came up. But you have to, when you guys know, you're from small towns, right? When you go into a bar and the Celtics are in the game 4 of the playoffs, guess what? Who gives a fuck about a comedian?
They'll turn you off.
I don't give a fuck if it's Jesus making a comeback with the apostles and they're going to play a song and you're the first one to hear it with the Stones. You know, you're from Buffalo. And I remember I had to go up during halftime. Like, that was what happened. We came in and he was like, listen, guys, I got bad news for you guys. There ain't no show. There's a Sabre game. My bad. I'm still going to pay you, but do me a favor. At halftime, each of you go up and do 15 minutes. Lee, you have no idea what I learned that night. You have no idea what I learned that night.
How was the crowd?
Not receptive to comedy.
Were they throwing stuff at you?
2 minutes away, Lee. But I remember standing there at the back of the room and going, I'm not sure about this comedy thing. Maybe I should just move to Jersey and do some coke. I'm on the East Coast. I should just take the bus to Jersey right now.
What year was that?
97.
So right before you moved here?
I was living here already. And I was taking buses from Toronto, Canada, to Buffalo, to Albany, to Syracuse, the club in the fucking hotel. I was there with wise guys, and then it became the magician. Bought the club from the guy, it sank, and the magician bought it, so he'd open up the club. He was a good magician, though. and they gave you a bottle of vodka when you got to an 8-ball. Nice little place. On Saturday, the city was locked down. Even Subway was closed because it was downtown Syracuse at the time. Nothing was open. It was like going to those commercials in Citibank. Hello out there, like I Am Legend.
Yeah.
That's how it was.
Jesus.
I went all the way down. Then I would go to like Albany, those small towns. I do Roger Paul's, Rascals, and the other place. They have a one-nighter up in Nyack or something. Or they used to up that way. Then he had a 2-nighter, at the bottom of a Hindu hotel. And he got 15% off at the restaurant. It was fucking brutal.
What's a Hindu hotel?
Just a Hindu hotel, a hotel owned by Hindus. And the downstairs just smells like curry. And it's next to a gas station. That's it. I remember Ralphie when he broke the bed. He left on a Friday night. Come on, dog. I took buses. I lived on a Greyhound and went from El Paso all the way up to Toronto and back. And then I would get a Yoda gig, do Wisconsin, Michigan.
So this is kind of like the point, if you think about it. So you're making what for those gigs? Like, how much would you get for like a gig like that?
$75 a night. $125 if I headline, $175 if I fucking Happy Rosh Hashanah, Judah.
So like, someone like Mike would get at most $15.
I didn't have an agent.
So
to
that's
book
what I'm
me in
saying.
those days.
That's what I'm saying.
And that's the other reason. A lot of comics
They wouldn't make money.
go to Mike and go, Mike, I'm funny. I'm on the road with fucking Johnny Bananas. Okay, so what are we going to do with you? Well, put me on the road. For how much? I can't book Eddie Murphy for $3 million at Madison Square Garden on New Year's fucking morning because Billy Joel is doing a night show. And then call the Funny Bone to book Joey Diaz for a $600 feature spot. That's $60. Yeah, but they could do it because I was one of those guys. I would beg Richie Super. Come on, Richie, get me in as a feature. $60. What are you going to do with $60? Well, 4 weeks a month. $60. That's $240. And what are you going to do with $240?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's something that most comedians don't realize.
And that's the bottom line. At the end of the fucking day.
Absolutely.
That's the bottom line.
That $1,500, if you don't know, typically like a comedy club will pay the lowest fee they'll typically go is like $1,500.
12, the Funny Bones, 5-6 years ago offered me. Way before I met my booking manager, I got a call one day for 12 for Wednesday through Sunday.
Yeah.
And this is a true story. And I bumped into Billy Gardell in a diner in Burbank. And he was kind of bummed out. He said he had to cancel 2 gigs because they had just called him and cut his money. This is way before Mike and Molly.
Yeah.
And he goes, they cut his money. What the fuck is going on? And I go, listen, I'll do it for 12, but there's no Sunday in your world. And how much budget for a plane ticket? They said plane ticket is included in the 12. I was like, so for $900, I got to fly to your beautiful city and do Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And I just quit. I said, I'm not doing that. And like 3 months later, Billy Gardell got Mike and Molly. Now he's opening up a fucking pizza.
Yeah.
The Gardell brothers or some shit.
But that's the thing, right?
That's the bottom line.
That entry level spot is the most competitive spot in comedy, and that's what most comedians don't realize. And so many people that I talk to, they just go, "Oh, well, can you just make some phone calls and go in there?" And you go, "Dude, you understand that spot? There's so many comedians that want it. There's so many more comics out there that can kill for an hour that can make $1,500 to $2,000. That's the most competitive spot, and yet you make no money as an agent or a manager or whoever. And it actually takes more effort and more work to book that spot than it would to book the spot worth $60,000. $60,000 when you're making $6,000 in one pop, and that's why we have to be so selective with who we get behind, and it's because it's very difficult, and there's no payout for years.
And I would imagine, like, it doesn't look good for you if you're trying to book the $60,000 deals to also be calling them for the $600 deal. Like, you kind of have to.
It does if that person's great. If that person is that good, where the club owner's going to go, holy crap, this guy's unreal. That part does look good. But if you're in the business of trying to get people $1,500, $2,000 weekends, But that's the majority of your business. You can't survive.
No, because you need like 10 clients constantly out there to make any sort of living.
Yeah,
that's a lot of fucking work.
That's a lot of work.
That's a lot of fucking work. 10 guys, 1,500, 100. That's 600 a month from each guy, right?
Yeah.
600 a fucking month. You got 10 guys. What's that?
6,000.
6,000.
So I guess you could do 5 guys, maybe.
By the way, it's also like impossible to get those spots. So you're basically asking a club to lose money because you think this guy's that great.
But then again, you have Chris Rock.
Yes.
So now here's fucking Joe's Crab Shack in Bloomfield, Mississippi, and you call him to talk to fucking Lee Sayat. Who's this Lee Sayat guy? Well, he's been on Conan O'Brien. He's been on Meshuggah's show. He's been on Jimmy Fallon. Yeah, but I don't know who the fuck he is. Does he sell tickets? Listen, let me ask you something. Chris Rock, they scheduled this fella. I might have a week for you in December. Chris Rock. I'll get him bottom rank. Do me a favor. Put this lease I had in your fucking club. Give him $2,000. It's like I used to do to the Chinese guy. You promise him. Now you always got Chris Rock. Like, hey, what happened to Chris Rock? Hey, he got a movie with fucking Eddie Murphy. I mean, I'll call you next week. And now you know what I'm saying? You just milk the fucking. I mean, there's 1,000 ways to get the guy in. I remember an expression called the guaranteed feature. When I was in a feature act, somebody came to me once. I'm a guaranteed feature. I go, what's that mean? That all the comedy clubs have to pay me $600 a week because Rich Miller said so. So Rich Miller would call other clubs, and that was a good way to get other talent from other areas, you know. But for the most part, and, you know, let me tell you something. $600 for a feature act today, it's not even that. I won't name the clubs. There's clubs that just pay you for the sets now as a feature. They don't put you up with 5 sets, $100 a set. That's $500. Let's say you fucking, unless you tiptoed through the fucking tulips, how'd you get there? Even if you drove, you gotta knock a deuce off for that. Now let's pretend you're Lee Sayat. You go on that site. What site do you go on?
Let's go with Hotwire.
Hotwire. You get a hotel for $30 a fucking night. That's 4 nights. That's another $120. What do you got left with to do comedy? You really gotta love doing comedy. Yeah, you could schlub CDs and T-shirts, but you're still not the fucking headline.
Right.
You're still not that. How many T-shirts are you gonna sell? 4, 6, 7 for the weekend? If you have a CD for $5, you'll sell fucking 10 or 15 of those.
But then it's like, I got very lucky when I met you, because like I've had people say like, why don't you start doing this with other comedians? And I think it's very similar with agents. If they're at a point where they're making money and they're successful, they have that person, and that means you have to go with people who don't have a following yet or not making money. So it's, and then for the people who do make the first jump at you, like those first agents, then as soon as you start making money, or as soon as the artist starts making money, they jump to a bigger agency.
But here's the bottom fucking line, Lisa.
Yes.
And this is what a lot of comics do not realize, that Mike will push and he'll stand behind me 100%. I can't do it by myself. He knows for me to keep growing, the other side's got to do the work. But I got to cover my fucking spread. The first time he has to call me and say, Joey, I just got a call from fucking bumfuck Indiana. You're not twitting the dates. I don't feel like twitting the dates. Joey, what the fuck? What the fuck? It's not your contract, but it's a gentleman thing. You want to sell tickets. You want to hit, you follow me?
Right.
It's those little fucking things. I have to stay up on my game in today's world. In today's economy with comedy and all the fucking free media that's out there. I don't even know if I'm saying fucking stoned. All the free entertainment because look, our biggest audience right now are 9 to 5 people. Tomorrow people are going to go on their computer, put this on, put the fucking earplugs on, and type letters to communists and fucking listen to this shit. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's basically that's our biggest market.
Right.
So it's not TV. It's not.
No, the podcasting is definitely now the biggest draw.
I'll tell you, before he signs a client, what's their prerequisite right now in today's fucking What's the first thing you tell
Well,
them?
the first thing obviously is how strong is the hour, and then it's okay. Well, what else is there? Is it the podcast? Is it the social media following? Is it? I mean, I don't see a reason why every comic should not have a podcast.
At this point,
I don't understand. Yeah, it'd be hard to convince me why it doesn't make sense to have a podcast.
There's only 3: Louis, Kevin, and Gabriel. Other than that, I can't think of any big ones that don't.
Yes,
Maybe Sarah Silverman. I don't know if she does.
Sarah does not.
But I think a lot of those guys don't have to.
And they came up at a time that it wasn't necessary.
It wasn't necessary. Things work differently for people, and that's different paths. And everybody, listen. The most important thing about this game is the opportunity is there. It's what you do with it. Like I said, I got to open up for Joe. I got to meet a lot of people through fucking Joe. I took advantage of those numbers. When they wrote on Twitter, I wrote them back. I would go to Milwaukee with Joe. He'd sell out 2,000 seats. The next morning, guess who my phone call was to? I didn't give a fuck what time it was. My agent to say, hey, I opened for Joe last night, and there was 2,200 people in there. Call Milwaukee the first fucking thing you do today. But I don't understand, because there was 2,200 people. Even if I fucking get 20%, I got a show. I got a weekend. They're going to pay.
Right, yeah.
Okay, that's the fucking mentality. I got there, I got an opportunity, and I did my 20 minutes. Kevin Hart was brilliant. That was brilliant. Calling your agent and going, get me whatever. I want to go out there. They're going to put 2,000 seats in a weekend, 1,600 at an improv. And if you get 50% of that, there's 800. Now you got something. Now, plus that 800, 4 more hundred are going to come. So now you got 1,200. Now you got a small theater or a great weekend at a fucking comedy club. Now, the next time you come, you get another 500 attached to that. Now you got 1,800 in 5 fucking years. That's the patience.
And you probably didn't have to give away free tickets after the first year.
No, he just told you the fucking story. After the first year. First time I saw Sheryl Crow, they were giving away tickets. Album dropped. The next time, I paid 20-something fucking dollars. Let me give some shout-outs. We get this guy out of here. He's got to get back on the phone and fucking hustle. Shit, it's fucking Rosh Hashanah. This is when you make calls. There's some real Jews are on the phone. Most Jews are at home eating salami right now, waiting for Gabriel to open the door. Don't they leave the door open for some fucking spirit? Real Jews are on the phone.
Jehovah, not Gabriel.
All right, whatever his fucking name is. Tim Hofer, Jason Brazil, Kevin Zoll, Matthew Oliveris, Gitch from Clifton, Richard Maynard, Andrew Nandial. You know I love you, cocksucker. Thank you for going for the doctor. Maddie's World, Steve Zoe, and DJ Door or something, whatever. DJ Ding. I don't know what the fuck your name is. I don't know what you do for a living. Not the mood to get into it right now. All right, this weekend we're in Vegas, Saturday night shooting the special. Next weekend, New York City at Gotham's, and the week after that, the Toledo fucking Funny Bone. Go on their website for infos and times. Don't be bothering me with those fucking questions, all right? What, Lee? What's the problem? You don't want to eat this last stuff?
No, I don't want to
eat now, there's a kid in Africa with flies in the fucking corner, thirsty as fuck. And if I go over to the store and tell him,
you're making him more thirsty.
No, I wouldn't. I
I'm thirsty as fuck right now.
There's a THC killer right now. Would you eat this right now? And I'll bring you a steak in an hour. He would eat this. And you're turning this down. This is what I got to deal with.
Yeah, but you're not going to bring me a steak in an hour. You always say, what do you want to eat? You want a milkshake? We never go get milkshakes.
Because you told me that you count your points, and God forbid that the wife finds out we're eating milkshakes, and I got to get a fucking ear beaten. I don't need this aggravation in my life. I'm trying to put shit together here. You are doing a great job with what you do. You know,
thanks, man. I wish I could be more helpful. I'm not sure. Are there any other questions you think that that comedians could
well, even
benefit from?
Just from because Joey always tells me I'm going to be a manager.
Yeah.
And it's a hard thing to know. Like we were talking the other day. He said you're going to start like contacting people and start presenting yourself, but it's hard to know how to do that and like what level of comedian to go for, and then it's crazy how you were talking earlier how you don't get a lot of the credit, but it sounds like some managers and agents do guide careers, and it's like a lot to even think about like, where would I even start.
You and I, Mike, both know that there's bad agents, great managers, bad managers, but there are managers and agents that have done a great job and given great clients great advice over the fucking years. There's good and bad. There's people who know more than others, more people in the game, you know. A couple of years ago, a comedian wasn't doing too well, and he thought he'd fucking do some shit. And he started doing some shit with some tubes and a microphone, and all of a sudden he put him on iTunes. People started paying attention to him a little bit, and all of a sudden he went to this fucking big-time manager he had, and he said, hey, I got this going on. And the manager goes, and he fired the manager, and the guy went on to be a big star. My point being that this manager wasn't in charge, wasn't in tune with the future. The future is upon us, and people are not prepared for us. These agencies are really not prepared.
Yep.
SAG doesn't know how to handle the commercials on YouTube. People don't know what's going on. Nobody really knows what's going on. Eventually, the hammer's going to fucking come down, and somebody is going to know what to go on. That's where you come in. You sat here across with me when we were getting 300 downloads on this thing with no sponsors. You sat there across from me when we shot a documentary. You sat there now. We're going to do a special. We've done videos together. This is what the involvement is. You could go to a comedian and go, this is what I've done right now. This is what you, let me get a water over there. You got me over here fucking like a swami.
But that's another thing I've been thinking about, though. And that's another, when I talk to people, ask me questions about podcasts, I think a big reason that we've had success together is because we've done all that, and because for the first 2 months we hung out, we didn't even do it, we just hung out. I don't know if that's possible if you want to have a group of clients.
I think if you're looking at a comic and you're thinking of giving him the keys to the kingdom, showing him a way to become something, but there's also a bargain to that. He's got to keep writing. He's got to send emails. He's got to take pictures. He's got to send out fucking yarmulke. He's got to cover all his bases. Eventually, he'll find his knack, what avenues to work, and both of you work together.
Right.
It's not like you could change somebody's life right now, because they're going to want to call you in the morning and go, so what video do I shoot today? What am I doing today? You got to go, well, you put up a video 2 weeks ago. Let that get 300 more hits. Then we'll get, you follow me? There's a lot of little things that people do not know, strategies. And right now, when you sign a client, when you go to Montreal, you see.
What'd you say? No. But they like you. Good on you, dog.
Let me just stand first. You sit down, all of a sudden, blah, blah, blah goes, and finally you go over there creeping like a savage. And you blah, 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 and then you talk. But right on the spot, before you go out looking, you have to have a plan
I don't know
of what your plan is. This is like no Dickie Wilkins. He's one of the head writers on Gotham. He's looking for a character like you. Well, we get together on Tuesday for lunch. As a matter of fact, if he's smart, the agent, he doesn't really want to sign him. He sees something that nobody else sees. He heard that CBS is doing something with creepy people. This guy looks kind of creepy, this Joey Diaz guy. Let me see if we can get him in the cemetery show, whatever the fuck. This is before 6 Feet Under. You were at lunch with some fucking schlup. He says they're doing a show about creepy people on cemeteries. You signed this kid. I saw it done with somebody in this town. I saw a fucking guy go to Montreal, sign this black kid. Black kid was shy. If maybe, this is 1998, if maybe the kid had 6 minutes of material. That's all he had. He took him to a popular club, shot the 6 minutes, took him to CBS, got him a deal, blah, blah, blah. Put dreads in his head. The kid shot steroids. One day I'm watching USA. There he is, the sidekick at the Anthony Michael Hall on one of those fucking shows. Guy did 18 years in the sitcom. He's back in the Bahamas. He took the dreads off. He's back in fucking Chicago, counting fucking dollar bills. He had a plan.
Right, but then
he had a plan.
Maybe this is a question for Mike then, but as an agent or a manager, to know what the plan has, because not every comedians are the weirdest people in the world, and the Joey's not like Steve Simone, and Steve Simone's not like Ari, and to know where to guide them. If I try to go to another comedian and do what Joey and I have done, it might work, but it might not fit their personality just right, and it fails.
Yes.
So what I've been thinking about is that you really have to get with somebody and go out with them for 2 months and hang out with them and just know them.
At the end of the day, you know what Mike's job is in today's society. In today's, it's to pour gasoline on a little fire. For example, whoever did the job with Ari Shafir, they poured gasoline on a little fire. It started with a storyteller show, and the fire spread like what's going on in Fresno right now. Okay. I'm not making fun of nobody. I'm just telling you the truth. They started with a cell. Ari is a terrorist. It started with a fucking storyteller show for $5 in the back room. Ari hadn't done a fucking commercial in 22 fucking years. His commercial career was done. He knew it. He was always out of town. I don't know. I don't want to go down to 200 South La Brea. Ari, there's a nice sandwich shop across the street. I don't know. I'm tired. I was at the store till 4 in the morning last night. I'm blowing it off. Fucking, I'm not even calling up and shit. He said he would walk into auditions, look at the date, and the reason to be out of town for the callback. Fuck it. I'm not going in there. You know, go in there, book it. They'll change the dates. They'll work something. But he's had an idea. And it was just so now his agent had to go in there and just put a little droplets of gasoline on it and then spread more. Keep spreading gasoline and hopefully that fucking ignite will get over there. That was Ari Shafir. We all saw it happen in front of our fucking eyes. We saw the show go from the fucking improv dungeon. They didn't even serve alcohol back there to, you know, Thursday nights at 11 o'clock on Comedy Central. And it got good numbers. They wouldn't be shooting season fucking 2 right now. Don't be blowing smoke up nobody's fucking ass. It wasn't like, oh, well, what do you think? Should we vote on Ari? Or let's go out and get drunk and throw dice against the wall. No. So it was a great fucking idea. They flamed a little fire on me. Yes, I do believe you should start a personal relationship with him for 2 or 3 months and get to know this person. You're about to invest a bunch of fucking time. Once Mike signs you, you got to get on the phone and start licking stamps and calling people. And now I got to send him, Joey, did I tell you I fucking made it to #1 in Canada on iTunes? Email me that, please.
Yeah, that relationship really matters. And I think, you know, you just gotta like figure it out. You know, I mean, that's the beauty of it. The same way you did this, right? You got together with somebody, you kind of brainstorm, you failed a bunch of times, you figured, oh, this is how to not do this anymore. Okay, great. Now we can figure out how to do it. And it's just years and years of just putting in the time, but not, you know, on a Saturday you're spending 4 hours with them trying to figure it out instead of watching TV. You know, I mean, those are the kind of things that will make you, I don't know, end up being able to figure out what those moves are. And look, no one has all the answers. It's just, it's a matter of experience, right? It's a matter of failing a ton. I mean, you could go out with your relationships right now, you could go out and run, you know, take over a night on a Tuesday in North Hollywood at Big Wangs and tell them to do a comedy night. And you could put 7 comics up there and you could see who kills it. And you could promote it on the podcast and you could probably sell it out every single night. You could have the hottest room in LA. And then you could build a podcast, you know, area based off of that. You could build a little network based off, okay, who kills on my Tuesday night show? Great, I'm going to do that. I'm going to get that guy his own podcast and I'm going to build it from there. And you could have your own little management company based out of the Valley that could be very, very successful, doing nothing really different than what you're doing right now. And it's just a matter of you doing it versus talking about it. I mean, that's really the difference.
Okay, so, well, first of all, you might be a genius, Mike. But, okay, so the comedians I get to meet are usually medium to higher level.
Yes.
If I invite them to my show, they might do it, but I'm not going to convince them come to the Flying G management. So it would have to be the smaller comics. Like, that's just
first of all, you're a Jew. You're showing up with an envelope. You're showing up with somebody already in your fucking pocket.
There's a lot of people that don't want to work, man. There's a lot of people that.
That's the other hand.
Totally.
Okay.
They don't want to show. You know the people. You said we discussed this where he was 20 minutes late again, the 3rd week in a row. He doesn't really want to do a fucking podcast. This is something else to him. You know, we put time into this. We discuss it. We call each other. I torment you. I ask you stupid questions. We get high together.
Sorry, that's a really good. I'm just thinking about your idea. It's
It's a great idea.
Yeah.
Like you should also start a podcast to teach people how to podcast. I mean, look at all this equipment and stuff in here. It's amazing. And the trial and error that you've gone through could save people tons and tons of time.
I've been doing the consultant, but then I'm trying to do. I was thinking of doing a paid course, but yeah, maybe I'll just do a free one.
I would just do it
and say
free.
Fuck
I mean,
and do it as a podcast. And you're a smart man.
That's why he's sitting where he's at. That's why he never signed me as an agent. He's a smart man. We always kept a friendly relationship. I call him up when I'm in a bind or I got a question. That's why he's on the podcast, because I know there's comics sitting at home going, what's my next move? Yeah. There's a ton of comics I bump onto on the road that are fucking hilarious. They're fucking hilarious. They got it. They're onto something. You could tell. You've been there. You know what it's like when you're clicking, you're giving the headliner a little trouble. People are clapping for you a certain way, and they're stuck. They're scared. They ask you, when I move to LA, what happens? And some people come out, man, go to the store, do 3 sets, and 3 Arts is there, or ICM is there, or Innovative is there, whoever the fuck is there. And there's other people who go to the fucking coloring book, and they bang it out from fucking day one. That's just all it really is. You know, and it's not giving up. But the funny thing is that everybody gets an agent and thinks their day is made. They don't think that's where the work starts. When I first signed with SBV, I would only bring them 8 headshots at a time. They would submit those 8 headshots every week. They would ask me, why do you fucking bring us headshots instead of bringing us a bunch? I'd say, because I'm not doing nothing with my day, and I want you to remember me every fucking week. Every week I'd walk into SBV, into the things. There was a box that said Joey Coco Diaz, and I put 8 headshots, leave, and I come back every Monday. Second thing I did every fucking Monday. And from there, I went to the coloring book and talked to them for 20 minutes about whatever the hot movie was or whatever. I didn't give a fuck. I didn't want them to ever forget me. Then I hooked up with Pablo Francisco for a weekend. And he told me, you're doing it all wrong. You gotta take your agent to a strip club. And then I offer him some coke and get them all invested and fucked up. That's how you get them to work for you. And I'm like, I don't know about that one. I don't like fucking strip clubs. I gotta walk in there with a fucking guy. He could be a part-time fucking racist or rapist, whatever the fuck he is.
A racist rapist.
I swear to God. I had an agent, a theatrical agent, that I would sell a pound of weed to once a month. Because he was selling weed, but on the weekends, he would rent himself out and go to these little city towns and do talent pageants, and then fuck the 18-year-olds and come back and show me the pictures. Fucking, this guy was an agent and with the suit, the whole fucking thing. I mean, it was just, Lee, you okay? You're into Zomboville.
Yeah,
Let's do the fucking sponsors and we'll get the fuck out of here. September 14th, 2015. 2 more days. It's the 33rd anniversary when I robbed the jewelry store. I always light a candle that day. I was thinking about that. I knew it was fucked up.
You light a candle for the jewelry store?
Sure, for everybody involved. You never know.
You ever think of calling them up and
apologize?
No, just talking to them and be like just torturing. Like, it's been 33 years. I still got some chains.
Look at Lee cracking funnies and shit.
Sending him pictures of it.
Lee, look at Lee cracking funnies and shit tonight, ladies and gentlemen. I don't need this aggravation. Listen, you're thinking of quitting smoking? Wherever you're allowed to hang out, you can't smoke, but you can smoke an e-cig. Stop the fucking horizon right now. Hit e-cigs. What's the matter, Lee?
Go ahead.
Hit e-cigs are the best e-cigarette out there in the market right now. 1,200 guaranteed motherfucking puffs. You're not going to get that for fucking what you got at these little stores and shit like this. And it tastes tremendous. If you're thinking of quitting, they got them in 24, 16, and 8 milligrams. And the cigar is just a fucking cigar. The beauty about this thing is I've had this for like fucking 2 months. Are you kidding me or what? It's like smoking a motherfucking cohiba and blowing smoke in their face and shit. Anyway, go to Hitty Sig right now. They got a special deal. What's the deal, Lee? 5 for 50 for $50 fucking dollars. $10 a piece, 1,200 guaranteed puffs. You'll be smoking e-cigarettes for the rest of the fucking year and the beginning of 2016. Go to hittycigs.com right now and press in. Press in what, Lee? Lee, press in Joey's Church and get 5 for 50 beans, all right? Number 2, you know who I love. On it. Staying on it again. Shroom Tech today. Lee didn't want to take his. I took mine. I fucking did kettlebells and everything. I asked you if you wanted some Shroom Tech. You told me no. You were scared. Your little fat heart was beating. The ghee was making you hot and shit.
I almost died.
He almost died. Anyway, go down because you didn't take the Shroom Tech. Anyway, go to Onnit.com right now and look at the great selection of products they have from Alpha Brain, the complete earth-grown nootropic, to the T razor, the testosterone powder, to the
MCT oil.
MCT oil. I'm sorry, I'm a loss of words tonight. But listen, do me a favor. Stop fucking around, and I'll stop fucking around. Go to Onnit.com right now. Go look at the great selection of products they have. Read up. I guarantee it's going to blow your mind. My favorite is the hemp protein, the cocoa, fucking tremendous, 16 grams a scoop. 2 scoops, 32 grams. It's what the body assimilates. Forget about it. You throw a fucking banana in there, some coconut milk. Who's better than you? Stop it. Go to Onnit.com right now and check out all the great selection of products. Pick one, any one, and start your life living correctly. They even got blenders. They got everything. I can only get you 10% off on the supplements. I can't do nothing for you on the weights and all the other stuff. So go to Onnit.com right now and press in.
Church.
Boom. There you go. And get 10% off your first order. Tell them Uncle Joey sent you. And also, my main motherfuckers, my cousins from Western New York, New Jersey, NailedItLife.com. If you smoke vapor pens, they got the premier vapor pen on the motherfucking market. Go to NailedItLife.com right now. They got a great selection. They always have the Gummies Hermanos available only in California. So don't break my balls, guys. They don't ship. They're not going to send them to you because you listen to the show. They don't give a Frenchman's fuck. Go to those Gummies Hermanos right now. NailedItLife.com for you. The Gummies Hermanos, or what else they got? The little chocolate, those Cara bars that are fucking delicious. I put 10 pounds on that weekend. I ate 2. Delicious. Anyway, go to NailedItLife.com right now and press in.
Joey Diaz.
Boom! And get 20% off your vapor pen. Lifetime guarantee. Something fucks up, you call my man Peter. Boom, he gets it shipped to you overnight. No fucking around. Big shout out to Onnit, HittySigs.com, Nailed It Life. My main man Mike for coming out. Lee Sayat, you're a beautiful man.
Thank you, bud.
Don't forget, this Saturday night I'm taping the special. I'll be there Friday too and Sunday if you don't want to hang out, if you want to come out. Lee will be there eating some anarchy edibles, some stars of death. Next week I'm in NYC. And the week after that, I'm in Toledo, Ohio at the Funny Bone, all right?
Get the steak and shake, Ray.
I won't be in. Listen, that's your fucking
stuff. You're going to be at the steak and shake.
I'm not going to go to fucking steak and shake. No, I don't go to steak. I can't go no more because I got to watch my
I see you at the hot dog cart.
Fuck, stop it. Why are you throwing me under the bus? You know, I walk past that thing like a victim walking past the police station. Anyway, I love you guys. Don't forget about me. Mike, thank you for stopping by. You know, we got to do it this way because that's the way things are. He's a good man. I want him just to come on and simplify things for people.
Thanks, guys.
That's it. Thanks.
That's
guys.
That's it.
That's all you got for Young Joey.
Don't contact me and leave me alone.
Yeah, I wish I'm not a comedian, obviously, but I think it's great. You know, the lack of you know, what's the word? I think there's a million books on how to make it in the music business and how to write a script and how to do this. There's really no information for comedians, and it's a shame because so much time's wasted away from, you know, writing or performing, or spent on sending fucking submissions to agencies and going out and getting headshots and doing all this stuff that doesn't matter. I went to a show the other day, and it was an awful show. And the last 10 minutes of the show, after his closer, he stands up there, and the guy goes, "Look, the only way I'm going to be able to get an agent or a manager is if I get a larger social media following. They tell me this. This is what people are telling me, like Comedy Central, all these guys." And he does this whole 10-minute thing after his set. He stands on stage, doesn't walk off, doesn't do anything. Does this whole plays the victim, and everyone, I need to do this. So if everybody can just pull up their phone right now and follow me on Twitter, it would really help me, move along. And Joe, it was just like, I wish somebody could talk to this guy and go, dude, you're wasting your time. Focus on what matters. Focus on being very, very funny, and people will find you. Ari, speaking of Ari has an amazing speech that he gives to young comedians that's on YouTube. Google Ari Shaffir Comedy Store. He goes in the Comedy Store and just talks about it. And, the big things that he talks about, constantly write and just be in the scene. You got to be in LA or New York. you got to be just hanging out. Wednesday night's the big industry show at the Improv. Just be there. Be there every Wednesday, and people will recognize you, and they'll see you, and they'll become friends with them, and you'll get to know some agents, you'll get to know some managers, people get to know you, and things will happen. Things will change, So I hope that was helpful. Any any other questions or anything that you have, let me know. I'm here.
That's it, man.
Lee's gonna start his management company next week.
Think about
his weekly show, Big Wangs. It'll be the hottest show in LA. Gentlemen, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
Some questions, brother.
Of course.
What song we in them with? Get it together.
I don't know.
Voodoo Child by Jimi Hendrix. What the fuck? You slipping, Lee. You should have known this.
You didn't tell me till I know.
I told you 10 minutes ago that it was Voodoo Child. You didn't hear what I was saying. What the fuck do you think I'm doing here?
That was saying that.
The good one from the album. Don't fuck around with lives and remakes. And last time you put on like a cover band, I almost fell off my chair. You blew my doors up. Where is it, Lee? Come on.
I'm looking for the album
What are
version.
you looking for?
It's all live.
It can't be all live. There's got to be something on there. We are fucking at least I put studio in there.
I did that.
Bam, there you go. What do you think?
Oh, wait, no, this is live. God damn it.
That's all right. Play it live. Lee. We'll be here waiting on you.
Okay.
Just find something. All right?
Okay.
Yeah, put the
This show is sponsored by NatureBox. NatureBox ships great tasting, healthy snacks right to your door. Forget the vending machine and start snacking smarter. I'm doing good right now.
Not you. I'm still laughing at that fucking potion. He told me about that.
Who said potion?
That fucking horror drink. It's delicious. Give you a Guantanamo Bay. Butter, almond milk, fucking celery. What did you say, spinach?
No, spinach, almond butter, 7 dates,
God
7
damn,
ice
Felipe,
cubes.
you gotta stop.
What is spinach? Hey,
You gotta stop. You're making me depressed.
you want to beat up Pluto or what?
I don't give a fuck about Pluto, cuz. How you eat fucking Pluto? How you eat fucking spinach like that in a blender with a banana? That's not
It's delicious, dude. I'm telling you, you gotta try it.
I'm just getting a flashback.
You can't even taste the spinach. That's the best
No,
part.
after with the other shit that's in there, can't taste nothing. You don't want to taste it. You
It
sit there
tastes
going, why
delicious.
am I drinking this for breakfast?
You know what is
You had me.
delicious?
You had me with the 7 ice cubes. What else?
Almond milk, almond butter,
Mm.
7 dates.
Then you lost the fucking dates. Why are the dates in there? Dates don't do nothing for nobody.
Sweeten it up, right? Oh, that's cinnamon. It tastes like horchata.
Yeah, that's how they sell it to you. Until you see you in the bathroom 10 minutes later, fucking with spinach strings coming out of your asshole. You're gonna read the fucking sponsors. You're gonna sit there. What?
You know what else is good? What?
The statue over here, you know?
Oh, I'll go cue in. Go ahead, look. Go ahead, fuck stick, please. Oh, Christ.
Yeah, I'm not even the one who's in trouble. Forget the vending machine and start snacking smarter with healthy and delicious treats like dark cocoa almonds. Go to naturebox.com/Joey right now to unbox a world of taste and possibility. Go to naturebox.com/Joey for your first box of beyond tasty hand-picked snacks sent direct to your doorstep.
Be like, I ain't leaving that vending machine, though.
You read me on these?
I'm not yet. I'm doing it right now.
You're still on fucking Nature Box?
Yeah, you fucking.
Come on, guys.
You said I've been
This is
doing it.
22 fucking minutes to get this
Yeah,
started.
because you interrupted
Let's
it
do it.
for 21 minutes. Go to meundies.com/Joey and get 20% off of your first order of all the great men's and women's underwear, t-shirts, socks, sweatpants, sweatshirts. Go to meundies.com/Joey and they're going to give you 20% off of your first order with free shipping in the United States and Canada. And go to onit.com and use code word church to get 10% off all of the great optimization products like Alpha Brain, Strongbow, New Mood, ShroomTech Immune, ShroomTech Sport, code word church to get 10% off.
Crank that up, Lee. We ain't fucking around tonight.
Whistles, huh?
We ain't going out. When Spanish people start whistling, it's all over. Kick that, Lee. Kick it, Lee. The music.
Kick that
Not you, you
Lee.
fuck. Kick it. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. The church, motherfuckers. September 16th, 2015. Kicking it. Mexican Independence Day, right?
Yep.
Oh, shit. I never go back to Georgia. Fucking tremendous, these Puerto Ricans. Tremendous.
Never go back to
Joe
Georgia.
Cuba dropped. Please keep fucking playing that little rhythm. Are you kidding me or what? Half these fucking mutts are probably going to sleep. Kick that motherfucker, Lee. Dan, 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 dan. Are you fucking kidding me? Can you imagine having these Puerto Ricans next door to you? And they do rehearsal on Tuesday nights. They're frying bananas. You just sitting in your room like a fucking bomby talking to your mother. Her name is Louise. She's boring you to pieces. And all of a sudden these fucking spicks are next door listening to this shit. What are you going to do? You stab your mother and put her under the fucking couch like Jeffrey Dahmer. Tell fuck you. You bored me to pieces, you fucking bitch. I'm going next door with the spicks. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Something good is coming out of that fucking doorknob. I'll be over the plate. Because when this shit was playing, this is 1960, late 60s, early 70s. People were still in Manhattan, the Irish, the Italian, the Jewish, they weren't fucking cool with these people. Also, they showed up with bongo drums and shit. They didn't know how to fucking act. What's going on, Felipe?
What's up, fool? Chilling
You're
right
all
here.
smiley tonight.
Smiling,
Shit.
bro. Shining.
Silent Bob is here, the original. Rodrigo Torres,
Hell yeah.
family member, attorney in the future. Just came back from Mexico.
Hell
What's
yeah.
going on with you, dog?
Eating scorpions
Did
over
you
there.
see cartels at all?
They're where the place where I'm at was at is Zacatecas. That's in the middle, right next to Jalisco. And Chapo's people have been moving in there for like the last year, taking out the setas that were there before. They're actually bothering people, extorting people, and then moving their shit. But nah, they don't fuck with you. You don't fuck with them. That shit's all like if you know what I mean. If you ain't washing money, if you ain't in bed with them, you don't have nothing to worry about.
Where did you go back? What did you go for? Not bad.
It was 7 days. I went to go. My cousin got married.
Like, because Paula's mom won't go back unless it's to, like,
She'll never go back to Georgia.
She'll never go back to Georgia.
She won't go
She'll
back.
never go back to Tijuana.
well, she'll go back to, like, visit her son briefly, but, like, she won't go anywhere else. She's scared.
Of that, all that bullshit going on.
Yeah.
Like it's more hype than anything. But if you don't go back there, you are fucking susceptible to that head change and shit.
Then her, like, Paula's aunt comes, and she still lives in Mexico, and she said, like, down there, like, moms hope that their daughters marry drug dealers. Like, it's like what makes the most money, and even though it's dangerous. Like, that's what she said. I don't know if that's true or
Fuck
not.
being poor, dog. It's either if you're in politics there or that shit, or if you're like mad business people. And the biggest industrial places in Mexico is Mexico City, Monterrey, and fucking Guadalajara,
You know, it's real interesting if you
the border towns.
bump into fucking people now and get into a conversation. Within the first 8 minutes, Narcos comes up.
It's all fucking
Everybody's talking about
popular
it.
right now.
It's weird that I'm gonna watch it again. I'm gonna watch it all.
Are you really?
It's
On
kinda
Netflix?
interesting. Yeah, you gotta watch it twice.
I'm watching it. I'm watching it right now.
Yeah, you're watching it, and it's pretty interesting.
Episode.
What he did. Everybody talks about Bruce Lee. People talk about Elvis. I heard a fucking Elvis song a week ago on the radio. Dog, I had to pull over. I'm serious. By Bank of America, I had to pull over to the right and like pick myself up in the car.
It hit you hard.
What the fuck was just a regular stupid Elvis song? People that lived to see Elvis in the beginning, yeah. Can you imagine being around when Elvis came on? You got to see that. I don't understand that. I don't understand how we were a little younger. We didn't see the Beatles at Shea Stadium. There was how many people there? They welcomed the Beatles and people were fainting. I've been around 1,000 people. I never saw nobody fainting. But in the 60s, people would faint and yell. And, we weren't around to see that. So we don't know that feeling, bro. I was there to see Bruce Lee. I was very fortunate to be in a room with 10 little boys who were just out of a shower in a Catholic school. And we got to sit around with another and watch TV at night. And all of a sudden, a commercial for Chinese Connection came on. And there was silence. Silence. He sucked the energy out of the room. Like he was doing the Green Hornet. There was a Chinese guy in the Green Hornet. And his name was Kato, and he threw kicks. Now it was completely different. So I got to live it. And then he died. And I got to see how it changed the country. In your lifetime, you guys have that fortune to see things how it happened. We're seeing this weed revolution. You grew up in Los Angeles. 20 years ago, they bust you down in fucking wherever you're from. Pico Del Rey, whether the fuck
Pico Garden, Boyle Heights.
Boyle Heights.
One joint, you're done.
Fucker. You
One
understand?
joint, you'll be done.
Right. So now you've seen it. You've seen the weed stores. To me, it was very foreign. I remember And I tell people this all the time, bro. I was there with Felipe. We were 15, and we would take little hits of mescaline and giggle and smoke pot and hook up with the Gargiulo brothers on 76th Street. And then we'd crush the mescaline up and smoke it. And at the end of the night, you and I came home, and you'd say, Coco, what'd you spend? $6. We split a 12-pack of nips. There were $4 something, $2 a piece, and it was $3 for the hit of mescaline. Everybody in this country was set on mescaline and a little reef and a little fucking beer. And all of a sudden, some kid called you into a room and said, come here for a second. You ever do this, bro? What is it? It's cocaine. What are you talking about? Do this, smell it. It's a powder, bro. It's amazing. You could fuck for hours. If you play basketball, you could slam dunk. In fact, when you jump off the basket, then all of a sudden, how much? $100. I got $100 fucking dollars. And all of a sudden, I saw the evolution. All of a sudden, I seen it hit. I seen black people running around Harlem with no shoes on, looking for crack. You know, then you saw the crack epidemic that you were old enough to see and live through. So now you're seeing it from the back end. Oh, that's where it comes from. That's where it comes from. It started in fucking Chile, and the cockroach didn't die, and he made it to Colombia, and he sold the package to fucking Escobar. And Escobar figured out how to fucking move it across the board, and not 1 kilo, 60 kilos, and then 120 kilos. And then, you know, next thing you know, what were they moving? 2,000? And you can't, when you see these statistics, you can't really believe this. Like, if you look at this, okay, so they were smuggling, a ton is 2,000 pounds.
Right.
So they were saying they were smuggling what, a month into the United States? 2 metric tons.
2 metric tons.
I used to get so coked up, and I'm making a confession to everybody here. During my addiction, the 30-year addiction, I went through different phases. I went through the mathematical Joey Diaz. There's a mathematical Joey Diaz that would get coked up and start figuring out if he had a kilo, and he cut it with 20 ounces, how much he would make, and how much if he distributed it. I swear to God, then I became the musical Joey Diaz, where I started taking out encyclopedias and looking at the history of music bands. And what if Earth, Wind & Fire got together with Casey and the Sunshine Band? You know what I'm saying? Like, who would be the bass player?
What are you talking about?
You have no fucking idea what I'm talking about, okay? That's the waste of time. And then I got into the what was the other Joey Diaz? There was like 6 different Joey Diaz. Oh, you have no idea. Whenever I did cocaine, it was another mind fuck. I wanted to be alone because I wanted to get a piece of paper and pen. And I'd become philosophical Joey Diaz and try to write like Ben Franklin quotes. Fucking terrible. But you go through all these dumb things with coke, you know, like you get the paranoia. But when I first did coke, nobody got paranoid. Nobody. People did coke and giggled. What's up, dog? I love you. They tell you long stories and shit for hours. You got to sit there and make believe and shit. You know, and then all of a sudden people are like, hold on one second. You hear that? And all of a sudden people come over and fuck up your whole party because they'd hear voices.
Yeah.
Oh, let me look out the window. And all of a sudden you're like, let me look out there. You know, everybody's looking out the fucking window. Everybody's got to go. The neighbors seeing fucking doors going back and forth. People coming in and out. But it's really interesting to see this narco show because it shows you their perspective of how they were attacking us with cocaine.
Well, they said at the end they were making $65 million a day, like more than GM. Like not 65 million more, but more than GM made.
$65 million a day. Listen, a day, $60 million a day, guys. And who's the number one fucking exporter of that? We are. He doesn't sell that to a pharmacy.
No.
He didn't sell that to Rouse at wholesale, or he didn't go to CVS. He sold that to fucking people who are going to move that. If you figure that out into what we were snorting in the beginning, you'd be how crazy we went.
So here's the only question I had about the show. They fly it over to Miami, right?
Yeah.
It's the yearning for wanting more, guys. You know, John Singleton is shooting this pilot in FX about drugs in the 80s. Everybody's going to knock this out of the park now. Everybody's going to hit this topic, how this whole epidemic started. Everybody's going to hit this topic. And the part I read was about a boxer who wasn't doing shit with his life. And he looked up one day and he saw a Spanish guy come in with gold and rings and, you know, taking hundreds from people and tapping his nose. And he said, fuck getting punched in the head, you know, for $25 a fight. I'm going to go sell fucking blow. And that's what happens. I've met 1,000 drug dealers in my life. I was involved with drugs for 30 years. I met guys that were confused men that were doing drugs to get chicks and to get their dick sucked and to play the mafia role or the gangster role out. And I met guys who were businessmen, who were brilliant. Brilliant. I had a white dude in Boulder. That dude was brilliant, bro. He was selling a ton of fucking blow, but he was also building a business empire in the daytime. That's how he was fueling the money. For the stereo, we had the body shop with the fucking GPS. He had the rims, the electric rims, so the snow would melt off your tires. This guy was badass. But if you call this guy at 3 a.m, he was right there, bush-eyed, wide-eyed, selling coke. And I admired the guy. I still own 1,500.
Out of respect.
No, I've had drug dealers from every shape, form, and size. And I've learned something from each of them. I've noticed the ones that are suckers. You know, for 15 years, I just preyed on drug dealers. And all I had to see was an opening. And once I saw that opening...
No, continue this, but this is the point I was going to bring up.
Go ahead, what's the point?
How do you, as a drug dealer, how do you defend against what you made your living off of?
Being a fucking professional. Staying on top of your game. Like anything else. Because I'm not the only barracuda on you. We think I'm the only barracuda on a drug dealer. There's 18 guys watching you, waiting to make a mistake.
They used to sell drugs right across the street from my mom's house on 5th Street. And they were selling crack there all the time. And I would walk down the street to 4th Street to cut the cars off before they went to 5th Street. So I was stopping everybody, like, everybody was driving on 5th Street to buy crack. But me and my friends, you know what, why don't we just stand on 4th Street and cut these cars off before they go to 5th Street? So, man, we started short stopping everybody.
That's a genius move.
Yeah, and then after that, once everybody started going on 4th Street, we said, you know what, man, we're too fat to be chasing after these cars. Why don't we start selling drugs at 3 a.m? So what we did was we had regular 5 pieces of crack, and then at 3 a.m, we split them in half. So we doubled our money. So I would sell crack, bro. Like you think about how desperate these crackheads will come at 3 a.m. Can I get a 20? And I would give them like a $5 piece of crack for 20. Because they'll take it. And, those were the prices. And I was a little crazy little hustler. But sometimes, my brother is bad because my brother Angel, that fool used to fuck up the game, man. He was selling almonds, bro.
Yeah, that's fucking crazy. That's when you're
He was selling almonds with orange gel. So this fool would come back and shoot everybody. So I had to go back to 5th Street.
I had a guy that was putting orange gel.
That shit, dog.
I had a guy that was putting orange gel in coke for a long time. What's the other shit that they had before orange gel? There's a different Ambisol, the best. You could freeze it. Yep. You could freeze. I don't know how he was doing it. Don't ask. I don't know the chemical balance. I'm not a chemistry. This is 30 fucking years ago. I knew this guy briefly. And I know he was doing something with Ambisol because he told me he would take the coke into the city. I was one of my first cocaine dealers. Every time I went to his house. This is why when I saw the movie Boogie Nights, I knew that dude. The dude with the robe, with the Chinese.
The Chinese guy with the fireworks.
I knew that was my first drug deal. His name was Patty D. Patty D lived around the block from me. He was my first drug dealer. I ran interference in between him and one of his relatives who was a cop. They were favorite cousins. But since he became a cop, he couldn't hang out with his cousin no more and pick up the goods because he knew they were watching his cousins. So I would see the cop in the afternoon after school and he'd give me an envelope. I'd walk over to Patty's, get what I had to get, take a couple bumps off the top, and at night the cop would come home and get his little envelope. That's how I knew the guy. So now, just right after my mom died, bro. 15. I'm hanging out at Patty D's house. In the meantime, I'm hanging out with Didi Quintero and his brother Carlos. And Carlos is his unofficial bodyguard. People thought Patty D was a little gay, but they weren't sure, you know what I'm saying? Salute me. Sorry about that, guys. My allergies. Every time he went over there, he had a robe on. And you didn't know. And he would sing songs and shit. Like he'd play music just like that dude in fucking Motorhead. in Boogie Nights. That's what he plays, right? Same thing, bro. When you went over there, you knew you had to sit there for 20 minutes and get an ear beaten about the chick he just fucked that you never saw. You never saw none of his women.
Mm-hmm.
You just missed his bro. You just missed the hottest chick. I fucked her for 2 hours. She sucked my dick. I ate her ass. You just missed her. She would have sucked your dick if you got hit 10 minutes early. That's a control I have over women. What do you want? And then you tell him, let me get a gram. You know, I got $80. How much you owe me? Give me $80. And then you wait for a line, and he'd give you the smallest midget line. He'd do a big line. And in between that, he'd play music, and he'd start doing like the video dance to the music and shit. And you'd sit there bored to pieces, like, oh no, when is he gonna take his dick out so I can just kill this motherfucker? Oh my God. And then he accused Carlos of breaking into his house. So the relationship ended. But I bumped into him on Facebook and we friended each other. And then when he realized that I was part of the fucking conspiracy, he unfriended me. Unbelievable, these fucking people. He was the weirdest dude ever. Always had a robe on. 2 in the afternoon, 10 at night, and had just finished fucking a chick. You just missed it. You missed her, bro.
Damn chick, though.
Should have been there, bro. She was hot, bro. I was doing blow up her nipples. It was awesome.
Bit that bitch.
And then my high school teacher, the camel, told me that if I couldn't get a hold of him ever, he goes, I wouldn't tell you this, but there's a spot on 135th in Amsterdam. It's a discotheque downstairs. It's Colombians and Dominicans. It's the first merge. It's the first Colombians became partners of the Dominicans. I'm taking you motherfuckers back to New York, 1983. And you'd have to park your car in Amsterdam. And he'd have 15 guys out there as parking maids. There was no meters. No, there was no valet. You parked your car and you got out. There was a guy right there. Look at it. Okay. And you give him $5 and he'd walk you. That was their scam. They'd walk you to the discotheque. Then you walk downstairs. The place would be packed. In the daytime, they would play Colombian music. But at night, they would play disco music. If you're thinking you're to right. So you walk in, you'd fucking walk in, people be dancing. The DJ would see you. And in the DJ box, there was a guy, and he'd go. And right there in front of everybody dancing, right, you'd walk in, and the guy would say, I got 2 powders for you. I got this shit from Colombia. I just got off the boat. It's called Pigeon Anger. And I got this other shit that's called El Muerto. What do you want? This is 100. No, they would only sell grams and 8 balls. Esto es 100. This is 110. And this is 250. And this is 280. You give it to them. They have 4 turntables. Right in the back, 3 turntables. 3. They had 3. 2 of them were spinning, and 1 of them would stop. They'd take the aluminum. Bro, it was a 24-hour business. And then they would open the door, and you see that ledge where the door is? It'd have a drop. And that's where the package would be. You take the package out, he'd give you an extra, give you 2 bumps, wrap it up for you, and you went out the back door to the disco. And you pop right up on Amsterdam, dog. And I remember one day going, and the Colombian came out, he goes, there's a dead dude there, but we got a different way to walk into the building. They had the yellow tape around them. They had the guy with the blanket, blood dripping. And when we pulled up, the dude took the fin from us and took us around the thing. They still were selling coke with the cops in front in the investigation of the murder. One time I walked in on them and they were having a chicken thing with the chickens fighting and shit. Tremendous. This was real, dog. This was real shit.
Studio 55.
Yeah, I forget the name of the place. This was a long fucking
Calle Ocho.
It's weird. The drug dealers, I could write a book about my fucking drug dealers.
That's not a bad idea.
And every one of them, the ones I found fucking interesting as shit.
My drug dealers always been little small, little Mexican ladies.
How old? Like old?
Dude, I used to buy drugs in Elysian Valley. I used to live in Elysian Valley in Frogtown where Emilio Rivera grew up. So I used to go to that river. And they used to be an old lady, bro. She used to hang up by the river. This old lady, bro, like she must have been like 60 years old. She looked like she was wearing one of those work dresses, like those little aprons that moms wear over. and she'll just hang out with a bunch of shopping bags full of groceries. They were just fake groceries, and she'll have a little weed container, like those green little bottles, full of crack. I mean, full of the most flattest crack. It looked like peanut brittle. Okay,
Wait, is that good?
I don't know, man. I just smoke anything that's crack. I don't know the difference.
This is back in the day.
This is 2003.
Felipe looking good.
2003, bro. That was back in the day when I was river dancing in the rivers of Frogtown. So this lady was asking me, bro. She'll have a beeper number, and I would call her, and then she'll meet me outside of Por Favor. And then she couldn't cross over the river because she's paying taxes to the gang across the river. So if she goes to cross the river, she has to pay taxes to this gang. So I would meet her halfway through the river. So I would give her $60, and she'll give me like a bunch of flattest crack. And then one time she wasn't there, man, and I had to walk all the way inside. He goes, "Ahí va a estar mi amigo el cubano." This old Cuban dude, bro, that's probably been a drug dealer and a pimp and a drug addict in that little area since because there used to be a Cuban neighborhood all of Atwater back in the days, and he was inside the Alley River, inside a tent. He had his own little tent set up inside the bushes, and he just took his hand out, and I gave him $40, and he gave me $40 worth of crack.
Crazy, dog.
Just a tent in the bushes.
A tent, bro, and it was like that was so bad. And then after she would leave, she would have to leave at 10 o'clock. I knew her hours, bro. Like I knew that she got to the neighborhood at 11 in the morning. So sometimes I would drive with my Volvo and be waiting like a mouse, bro. Waiting like a fiend, bro. Every time a bus shows up, I get excited. I start dancing like Samuel Jackson.
She took the bus to drug dealing?
Bro, I'm telling you, bro, if you want to survive a drug dealer, like Joe Diaz said, you don't flash your money. You show up, man. She shows up like an old lady about to clean somebody's house. And I would give her something. I would bring her Doritos, and she'll give her an extra little chip.
A chip for a chip.
Over time, we're bad, bro. But man, and then when she would leave at 10, I would have to go to Drew Street. And this was before I didn't know that this was a crazy gang, you know. I saw him in Gangland. And I'd be over there, man. And this old Mexican man would meet me at 7 in the morning at this clinic, and he'll put crack cocaine inside of a big ass Mexican birote, a French roll. And he'll drop off his kids at school, go pick up Mexican bread, and he'll open up a concha, Mexican bread, and put crack in there, and he'll hand me over a bag of bread, and he'll be on his way. Man, I was doing a lot of crack, man. I couldn't stop. Hey, man, it was good, though. Sometimes people do crack. Remember one time, man, I had a showcase, cocksucker. I had a coach, man. I'll never forget that, man. You came through like a thief in the night, bro. You came in, bro, blasting, man, like the guns of Navarone, bro. I was 2 days without sleeping, and Ivan calls you up. And he goes, Felipe has a showcase today at 8 o'clock, but he hasn't slept all day. He's going to go pick you up. They go, why are you going to pick me up? Then we picked you up, and we took you to the 7-Eleven. Then you hung out with us, and you're like, damn. I had no sleep, man. Pat Buckle was going crazy. But I did my showcase, man, with my eyes full blast, bro. Like a truck driver's eyes, man. Like I've been driving for 8 hours. My eyes were beaming me up, Scotty, man. I was like Garfield, man, doing his showcase.
That's a nice jacket.
Thank you, man.
I love it.
It's a Levi jacket. Thank you very much. Oh, no, it's a regular jacket.
And especially Spanish drug dealers. Like I had a black drug dealer on 125th and Broadway in 1994 when that song was popular. Mr. Wendell.
Mr. Wendell.
He was old and black, and he had white hair, and he was frail. He was a sweetheart, and he'd get blasted on those little bottles, not the pint, but the half pint.
Yeah.
And when you walked in, the bell went off. There was like a couple sodas in the refrigerator. It was a health food store, but it was really a weed store. And he would come up and he had all the drug dealers. Like nobody in that business could you go to the window and say, yo, let me see what you got. Let me pick a bag. No. You put your $20 in, they throw a bag on, you take it, you walk out of there. For some reason, I got so personalized with him that I'd say, Mr. Wendell, what do you got? Show me what you got. Show me some love. And he'd throw out like fucking 6 bags. And I'd say, I'm taking one of them, but I'd take one and drop it on the floor and give him 4 back. But he was so old. We would just take the 4 and the 20 and say, I say the mile, player. And I just bend over, pick up the 20 and tie, and we'll walk out of there. It was fucking, though I played so much with heat on those Harlem streets. Right before I left in 85, there was Cuban refugees everywhere in Harlem. They were everywhere, Silent Bob. I had been out of the game. My mom died in 79, so I had been out of contact with Cuban people. All of a sudden, they're everywhere. Everywhere in New York, West New York, they're smacking people, they're getting arrested and shit. That's all the shit you read about. Like, I didn't know really.
You're running shit too?
Okay, Juan, my stepfather, was part of 4 brothers. That's why they called the family Cuatro Vientos, the 4 winds. So 3 of them were in Cuba. He paid $10,000 to get one. He sent them back to Cuba after 4 days because the guy was a communist. Because he saw somebody walking down the street and they said something to each other. So, and they lifted their arm in a weird way. He called them comandante, one of those words. My stepfather shipped them back. But then 2 of his nephews came. 4 nephews came in 1980. And by 1982, there was only 1 nephew left. 3 of them had been shot like dogs in the street. They came out to this violent. They tried to play it a different way. I had grown up with a guy named Dati that my mom was friends with, that they tried to help out. That guy was pulling those scams when I was a kid. You know, you showing up with coke and he'd shoot you, take the money and the fucking drugs, that stuff. But when those Cuban came to that area, they fucking took over like this. But they lifted that, you know, they were like gangs. They were like gang members here in LA. They just lifted the violence, man. And let me see. There was a bunch of them that would sell weed. The bus takes you to 178th from Jersey over to George Washington Bridge. So all you have to do is walk out of the Port Authority and make a right and walk down that block and cut in and left. And you'd see a bunch of people standing on the street. They were all Cuban refugees. And they were selling weed. So I would go up to them. I became friends with them. They were selling nickel bags. Oh, yeah, and I become friends with one particular one. You know what I'm saying? I would always buy from him and buy from him. And after about 2 months, I knew I was leaving to Colorado. I just asked them, I said, how do you get involved in this? They're like, you want to sell first? I go, yeah, I'll help you sell. Like, you'd be great. You know English. They're like, you make $1,000 a fucking day. So I'm like, you make that much money? He's like, oh, yeah, it's not bad. Selling weed? Selling weed. Here's the deal. Fucking. For every 25 nickel bags you sell, you keep $25. That was the level then. That's what you do as a refugee. You have no paperwork. You're an illegal. Maybe they weren't illegal. I don't fucking know. They came with that Mariel boat on, okay. Yeah. But these guys, I couldn't judge those guys. Even at that age, at 21. I was 21 or 22. I'm like, so tell me again. You sell 25 bags and you make, I go, what do you make a day? We make about 150, but you got to be out here from lunchtime to 2 in the morning. That's what you do. That's what you did 20, 30 years ago when you were a person who didn't speak English and you didn't have a way to feed your family.
And they made $1,000 a day?
No, I'm telling you that this is what that they told me you make a lot of money. When you go to a Denny's, when you walk into Denny's and you go, I want to be a waiter, like, that's a great job. You're going to make a bunch of money. You don't know what a bunch of money is. But these guys were out there 12 to 12 selling 12 hours of nickel bags. Cars pull up. What do you got? Sensimilla. How much? $5. Give me 10 bags. Let me look at it. Let me sniff it. Let me get 10 for 12. These motherfuckers would just go, no, it's $5 a piece. They'd give you 25 bags, Lee, at $5. That means you have to give me $125. You keep 25, you give me 100. Once you give me $100, I'll give you another 25 bags. You sell those 25 bags, give me 100. That's what you do when you're a drug dealer. So this is my office. I'm here watching TV. You're on the corner. Felipe's on Lancashire and Burbank, and Silent Bob's by the car wash over there.
Right.
That's it. You guys sell nickelback from 8 in the morning to midnight on those corners.
No, I understand, but just like this, they probably make maybe $100 a night, right? They have to sell 25 by.
That's what I'm saying.
They have to sell 100 bags.
You have to sell 400 bags to make $100 fucking bucks.
Oh, 400.
And in those days, you had that type of volume. 10 guys could do that. 10 guys could sell that much weed in a day.
In like New York City or anywhere?
New York City, with that type of volume.
That's money just to be sitting down, not working, picking up sugar canes or nothing.
No, you're outside hustling, wheeling, and dealing. When the cops pick you up, listen, there's a raid. Those neighborhoods always get raided. Those neighborhoods get raided every 6 weeks. You learn how to A, not have stuff on you, and B, how to know when the raids are coming, and C, how to pay to not make the raids come. If that's your occupation as a drug dealer, it's like anything else. You got to dive into it. The reason why, and I've always believed this, Felipe, you yourself like reading mafia books about history, anything organized crime. The reason why I think the mafia, they lost touch with what was going on in the streets. They got so greedy on this end. To me, if I was building a mafia and you came to me and said, Joey, I want you to be a captain, what's the first job you're going to do? Is I'm selling street corners. Because I know in my mind, every street corner is $50,000 a month. I know this. That's the bottom end of any criminal organization, is to control a neighborhood. All we need is 3 neighborhoods. North Hollywood, Studio City by Laurel Canyon and Ventura is ours, and Owen and whatever is ours. Those are 3 streets that within a year, we're going to be making $50,000 a fucking month, selling whatever we want, heroin, coke, on those corners. That's how a drug dealer, that's how a criminal organization looks at a street corner. Every street corner. If I have 3 street corners and I sell blow on those corners, and I put 2 badass motherfuckers on those corners to sell 50s of cocaine all day long, the uncut, rock, aluminum foil all day long. They're there from 12 to 2 in the fucking morning, and you know this. No drama. No parking the car, going upstairs. Shh, don't let my wife know why you're here. None of that shit. When you're an addict, that's where you go.
Yeah.
If I tell you I'm going to be there with the best cocaine in the city, uncut, what are you paying? Oh, Silent Bob, 60. I got it for 50. Right now in aluminum foil, my grams got rock in it. For 50 fuck. I don't know what it sells for. I know within 90 days, I'm making $50,000 a month, and I'm just the guy that's picking the coke up and putting the operation together. I know that for a fucking fact. Each corner. Never mind. Now what happens if I put a bodega over there? And in that bodega, I sell numbers and I take sports bets.
So why are you going to sell the street corners then?
Because I got to control the street corners. That's how criminal. What do you think? The mafia just sells drugs and the rest? No. Now you have to take the sports betting.
No, that's another fucking.
No, that's another fucking corner you have. That's how you control the corner with that grocery store and the fucking.
You gotta sell phone cars too.
You gotta sell phone. What do you sell? Whatever. No, you keep that place clean. You just do sports gambling there. If they want to come in for sports gambling, let them come in for sports gambling. You have an office somewhere else. That thing is. Well, you can't do offshore betting. You're trying to get the money off the street, Felipe. You start with the lowest numbers. If they know I can come to, let's say I'm a fucking Spanish immigrant, and I know I got to pay sneakers for my kid, but life is a motherfucker, and those immigrants know it's a motherfucker, correct?
Get all those Nikes.
Okay, get all those Nikes. I come into your store, I know I could borrow $55 I could borrow $75 from Silent Bob to pay him $102 next week. So loan sharking, that just becomes loan sharking.
$102,000 he has to pay next week.
Let's say $75. He gives me $100 next week.
What if he doesn't have $100?
I break his fucking neck. He can't. His wife and him can't shop at my fucking bodega.
I gotta make sure, man.
No, it's just simplicity. I'm just making a point, Felipe. This is how you take over a fucking neighborhood. This is how what the mafia and all these other people have forgotten. That they have forgotten this society. When I was growing up, there was neighborhoods. You could do anything in there. You could buy a fucking bazooka. And I could come to you. What's up, dog? What's up? What are you looking for? I'm looking for a grand. gram of fucking blow. Who sent you down here? Felipe, bro. Felipe from where? What Felipe, fool? Felipe.
Boyle Heights.
Boyle Heights. Oh, shit. You know Felipe, him and his cousin, right? Eat at his house. No shit. Come on, dog. Park your car. In that neighborhood, you can buy anything. You can buy anything. You know what? What do you want? I want a fucking ounce of blow. It's going to take an hour, dog. I got to call my brother Butchie. You got to go around the corner to the Columbia. Go to that bodega and wait there. What do you think you do in that bodega? You put a bed in, you buy a fuck. That's what I'm saying. I'm just saying. I don't know what the VIGs are, but that's what the mafia lost. That neighborhood money. And that neighborhood money is $1 million a year. It's the smallest percentage of, but you can make the more money because there's no money. It's like a car dealerships. If you have credit, you come in, I can get you a credit rate, the whole thing. If you got bad credit, I can have a good time with you, dog. I can make you buy that insurance.
I forgot about Joey Saza.
You can forget Joey Saza.
From Godfather 3, I forgot about his work.
So do you understand what I'm trying to say to you? These people are immigrants. You take advantage of these people in many ways. And I'm not just saying immigrants. This could be any neighborhood, a black neighborhood.
I saw it in Paul. I saw where Paul used to live. They had a corner. Every time I went, there were like 3 or 4 guys there. And at night, they would sell, it's funny, you said bodega. At night, they would sell pupusas right there.
You know.
Those are spots.
Those are fucking spots. That's what that's called. But it's amazing how once the mob lost that, listen, the cops will come 22 times and they'll break you up out of the neighborhood. Come on, guys, you got to break it up. What are you guys doing here? We're reading the paper, talking about sports. You guys like hanging out in front of a shoe store? Yeah, that's what we do. Eventually, one day, one cop's going to go, guys, what the fuck? And you're going to go, dog, what's it going to cost to get you off my back on this corner? And you know what? If I'm making fucking 30,000 a fucking week slinging fucking grams, I'm going to give you 500, 600. Bro, that's what we lost in America. You know, I always say that. When I was a kid, I knew guys that weren't losers. They were just out of work. They were college students. They would sell Quaaludes. You bought fucking 100 Quaaludes for $200. You sold it for $4. You make $200 on a Thursday. You just waited till everybody got paid. Everybody wanted a party. There's ways to sell drugs. And there's ways to be an animal. Both ways. I'm not saying that they're good, but I know that people get into vibes in that fucking life. And sometimes you got to do what you got to do.
You think those fools got too corporate, the mafia? To keep their ear to the
They went for
shit?
bigger money, and they left little pennies. And for years, they made money on the little pennies. All of a sudden, they got a house in Jersey. We don't need those pennies no more. I'm doing this. Well, you know what? Somebody else is going to take those pennies, and that's how they built power. Those pennies. So now you have street gangs. The kids are 16, 17, and making money because they're slinging. That money was yours. That you just let it go.
If I had to guess, it must be harder to leave once you get in, just because you see how much money you make.
Drugs is such a fucking huge part of our society. What do they call it? Pop culture.
Oh yeah.
Drugs are pop culture. Drugs are pop culture. Every year there's a new fashion drug. Every year people OD. Somebody's got to be pushing these fucking.
Somebody got some mushrooms too.
Somebody got to be pushing these fucking drugs. You know, it's what's up, Lee?
Whatever you
know,
need.
it's just interesting, and I had never thought about that before. That like, there is always like
when you watch Narcos the first
right
time.
now.
Yeah, when you watch Narcos the first time, you were like, what the fuck is it? How did he make $65 million a fucking day? When I was a kid, that kid in Aspen that blew himself up in the Jeep. They put a bomb in his Jeep. He went to every day. He gives somebody $5. Go start my car. The one night he goes to the Aspen Club. He's lifting weights by himself. There's nobody there. He goes and starts the car. Poof! A grenade under the seat. He had 31 days to what's the book? American Sniper. American whatever. He says he killed the guy. The guy's name was Steve Brabo from Aspen, Colorado. The guy was making $6 million every 6 weeks. Didn't even do coke. Didn't even see the coke. Didn't cut it. Nothing. All he was in charge of was the coke going from Miami to Colorado to Hawaii and to Minneapolis. He had 2 neighborhoods he controlled, Hawaii and Minneapolis.
See, that's what I was talking about earlier, though. He only had 2 neighborhoods, and he gets fucking blown up with a grenade.
In a car Jeep, but he was also making $6 million every 6 weeks. If you're making $6 million every 6 weeks, bitch, you better check your sneakers for grenades because I'm blowing you out myself. You follow
check
me?
under my bed.
You're
Man.
making $6 million every 6 weeks. You're part of something that's just gigantic.
Hey, fool.
When they go to you, what? What do you?
I was going to tell Felipe, those two brothers from Chicago, those fools were young, huh? Those drug dealers that caused all that shit in Chicago. That's why everybody's getting killed and shit.
Although the two drug dealers in Chicago, they're twins, and they were the ones that were moving all the cocaine for the Mexican cartel. And they were the main drug dealers out of Chicago, and they got arrested, and they're talking.
Yeah, they turn state's evidence and shit, but that's why everybody's getting murdered out there, right, fool?
Yeah.
It's caused all that fucking shake, but they were young assholes.
Half the places you guys drive by are stash houses. Half the places that you see that you're like, dog, look at that place. That place is never busy. Go in the back room. You think they got tomato paste back there? They got 35,000 pounds of blow back there waiting to distribute to your neighborhood or some other neighborhood.
There's a block up here that I'm convinced almost every store is that Magnolia on the way into Burbank. Like we stopped by one of those pet stores. There's like one thing on each corner, and they sold like 4 things in the entire store. And they're on Magnolia. And then they have 3 Halloween stores on Magnolia. You know that?
And a Donald Trump piñata.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy. Yeah, it's sucky. Look at this book. So break down Mexican independence for me, Silent Bob. What happened today on this particular thing?
Look, Hidalgo, right? The scream and shit.
Don't look at him. He don't know. You know this shit. You're
September 16th, dude.
him with fucking dummies.
Before the revolution, this is late 1800s, and was a priest, like a criollo, right? Fucking light skinned fool, and and what Jose Maria Morelos and all that shit. They fucking started that fucking that march towards independence, getting away from the Spanish crown and shit, under Spanish control, and actually becoming Mexico a country in and of itself. And fucking when it was all the way up here and shit.
So 4 years of college is all you got.
Yeah, what do you fucking know?
I thought you were gonna break it down for me. A to Z, I give you the
fuck, dude, I haven't took that fucking course a day. So.
Did you major in Mexican history?
I'm a history
Please,
major.
don't put him on the spot.
But
he majored in a part-time job.
He's gonna be a fucking attorney. That means his major was history.
Those were the roots of pretty much Mexican independence, and then resulted in the 1910 Mexican Revolution, dude.
So the Mexican Revolution was 5th of May.
1910. 5th of May, Cinco de Mayo. That's a struggle
Cinco
between
de
the
Mayo
French.
is the battle. Cinco de Mayo, the Battle of Puebla, where 2,500 Mexican farmers with rakes and leaf blowers beat the shit out of the French.
That's fucked up that it's Mexican independence and it's a Jew week too. It's Rosh Hashanah.
Rosh Hashanah.
Wasn't it fucking Salvadorian Independence Day yesterday?
Yeah, I think I'm Hispanic week is all Mexican Independence Day.
September the month, right?
September,
Hispanic Heritage Month.
Hispanic Heritage Month.
From Hispania.
And nobody knows. They make up things. It's the fucking weirdest thing, bro. It's like half the menu on Taco Bell is not Mexican. Mexicans don't even know what the fuck they are. But that's the same with Chinese food. When you don't talk to Chinese people, like, shit. The shit you motherfuckers eat is not the shit we
garbage.
I don't mess with no Mandarin Chinese food.
Steve Simone didn't like it as much. He went to China. He's like, I like American Chinese food better.
My favorite Chinese food is from the Hunan dynasty.
That's what we're fucking raised on. We're raised on
Hunan,
American Chinese food with the mustard and the egg
Hunan
rolls.
province.
What are you giggling about, fucko? What's the matter with you?
Nothing.
Everything all
I
right?
know that thing about orange chicken.
What?
You're looking good. What do you eat when you go to Chinese restaurants now?
Now that I'm vegan, I just eat the noodles. The noodles by themselves. Plain noodles.
So you live with-
That little star kicking in, the little Jewish star.
Joey didn't get the weight loss surgery because he couldn't eat Chinese food. And now you're saying that all you eat is plain noodles.
That's all I eat, man. They're good, dude. Or sometimes, I order the I eat a lot of Thai food, bro. like the yellow curry, green curry, red curry, with brown rice, man. That's just down. Or the for dessert, the sticky rice and mango is so good. You gotta try it, Joe Diaz.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be down there tomorrow.
Hell yeah, man. I'll make you some vegan pork tortas.
You know, there's an elephant in the room. It's weird because we have to talk about this, especially if we're doing this podcast. Something really weird happened today. I woke up to some wild shit. You know,
Willie Barcena.
sometimes you wake up in the morning expecting to have a weird day. You read something, you're like, what? You know, the big news today was about Steve Renazizi, you know.
Yeah, man.
And
I learned how to spell his name correctly today.
what the fuck happens when when you get caught in something? You know, I'm not mad at the guy. You know, I don't know him. I've known him for 20 years since he came out here. Whenever he said he came out here, I've never had a problem with him. He's always stuck up for me, you know.
He always said hello to me.
And then you always read this, and you go, what
The
the fuck?
fuck?
I got a couple emails like, did you see this? Like, I'm supposed to call him an asshole or whatever. Hey, man, I've been there. That's why I tell people, be careful what you get yourself involved into. You know, I didn't tell my mother I got left back.
I was gonna say, like, do you guys? I used to love to lie. I like about crazy things, like and like shot and like do all that
Cookie
stuff.
teeth.
So like, obviously it's not excusable, but what if like it just got bigger and bigger, and but then he said it on Marin, so that's not good. But I don't know if you can call him a bad person just for one thing.
We've all fucking told a lot. You know, it was to a certain age.
I lied too, man. I fucked up my leg one time, man. I was running from the cops, and I was running from the cops because I thought they were like coming after me, but they just turned the lights on and went to go chase somebody else. So me being paranoid, I ran and I fell in a ditch, and then I was crawling all the way home. And I remember telling my friends, "I got jumped by these 3 Nazis, bro."
Fighting for the cause.
I got jumped by these 3 fucking skinheads, bro. And they're like, really, bro? They jumped you? Yeah, man. Fucking. It's
So you
like,
lied.
I fucking lied. It's embarrassing.
I mean, we all fucking lie.
It's fucking embarrassing
You
to
eat
even
that
tell
brownie,
you
son,
right
and
now.
Bob, or what? We're gonna eat that brownie. That's a
I
good
think
one.
over there, man, Mr. Lebowski over there, man.
That's not to eat the brownie. You're dead. Listen, man, I used to lie, pal.
Oh, my God.
I was living in a fucking lie. I was like 27. Once I went to jail, I'm like, you know what, man? I see how these guys lie.
Fake as you make it, Doc.
Once you go to fucking jail, you see these guys with broken down socks. Nobody visits them, and they're telling you how they were pimp on the outside. Dog, I had tons of money. I had millions of shit. Nobody fucking visits you. You got no TV. You know, when you got no TV in your fucking room, there's got to be a problem. You split that one.
No, I'm good.
Lee likes chocolate.
I'm beyond good.
Yeah, like a fucking
Beyonder.
So fucking brownie.
I didn't even know that he was from New York.
That was a
I
shock.
thought he was from Boston.
And then apparently like he got his girlfriend up in it. Like he said she was working there too, and maybe she wasn't. It's scary. Like it's scary. Now you have to think about what you say.
He had it all planned out, man.
Because he had like his career. He just got that Buffalo Wild Wings thing, and again his new special's coming out. It's sad.
You think he really likes Buffalo hot wings?
How could he not? Buffalo Wild Wings. I'll take his job.
And who put that fool on blast? Who let everybody know that fool lied, or how did
So something about the New York Times, something about they confronted them or something. They checked the fucking fact, you know. It's funny because about 15 years ago, I was in a little misunderstanding with my ex-wife. And one day we were talking about something, and she goes, I read your resume, by the way. You're lying. You weren't born in Cuba. You were born in New York City. I read your birth certificate. I go, which one did you read? Yeah. There was a black and white one that nobody ever read. That I lost that just from being a kid in a wallet. That one had a cube on it, the whole thing. When I got the redone, it says New York City. One of the reasons why I'm scared, I know I won't get a passport, is because it's going to open up a bag of worms. They're not going to find me in there. My wife is a Gentile. Okay? All you got to do is open my wife's brain up without weed, and you're done. She went on Ancestry.com. I don't have an ancestor on that motherfucker. Do you understand me? There ain't nothing. Like, none of my people came to fucking...
It was lost. It was probably lost during 9/11. The record.
Listen, though, there ain't a fucking record. There ain't a fucking record.
It was lost in that lie.
But my uncle's in there. My uncle's in there from Glendale. My
Somebody else twig on that branch.
Yeah, no. It's
Not even
fucking
stop.
amazing.
A little
Not even
bit.
fucking stop. It's fucking amazing, bro. It's fucking really amazing that. So I know that, but that's the only thing somebody could jam me up on. They say, well, your birth certificate says you were
That's
born in New York.
Albanian. He's not really fucking Cuban.
Damn,
Where's Joe Deal is really Albanian.
And then I'm gonna have a problem because open up a fucking can of fucking worms.
Do people accuse you of lying a lot?
Oh, all the time.
Fucking lying
Why
cocksucker.
wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they? But I have a friend of mine that listens to this show. I have a friend.
They call you on that shit, how
I
don't they?
I have a friend
Old
of
school
mine.
friends who listen?
No, I have a friend of mine that I bumped into in Texas. And about 2 years, then about a year ago, he hit me up with an email that he goes, do me a favor, say hello to my son. Because he doesn't believe like Rabbi. Because he used to tell him these type of stories, and the son would go, Dad, stop it. So one day, the kid went to him and said, do you know this Joey Diaz guy? He's saying this shit. He goes, yeah, I grew up with the guy. He goes, say hello to him, let him know we're friends. Now the kid believes his father. But for years, let me tell you something, for years, I didn't say any of these stories, not because I didn't want to say it. It was because I didn't think nobody would believe him. And I also believed that everybody else lived like that. I thought that everybody broke windows when they were kids. Everybody had a fun fucking life. It's not till I went to Colorado that I would talk to people and I would tell them shit and they would just look at me, dog. And I'd say, I'm never telling that story again because obviously you can't tell that type of shit. People don't understand that in the rest of the country. It wasn't until this podcast shit. But I said, fuck it, I gotta let this stuff go. I can't live with this stuff. This stuff's hilarious, mugging a hooker. Nobody's ever mugged a hooker and taken it back to Jersey. And those kids are still alive. And they come to my fucking shows. The kid that drove that night still comes to all the shows and hugs me. And he goes, oh, my nephews love when you tell them my name and all this shit. But there's people who...
You were telling about you and Tony Hawk hanging out when you were little.
Really?
Nah. His son said this fool.
My brother Angel,
lied.
he's a con artist, bro. He's a liar. He was lying to my son and my little nephews one day and said that he used to hang out with Tony Hawk when he was 14 years old. They're about the same age. And then one day we're having a conversation and my son jumps into the conversation. My dad knows Tony Hawk. And he goes, oh, I do? And I said, nah, man, your Uncle Angel's a liar.
I was like, you never told me that, fool. And he got all fucking shot.
Yeah, man, he was all embarrassed.
I never understood. Listen, okay.
Lie.
Me and Lee go out. Okay, we buy a gram of blood. We bump into two ugly fat chicks. They suck our dick. We piss on them. We take them to a hotel.
Hey, what order is this
Don't worry
happening?
about it. We take them to a hotel.
Lee's definitely
We
gonna
fuck
lie
up.
and say they were hot.
We wake up the next day. They throw us out of the hotel. We don't have enough money to pay for the hotel. That's the story. Me and Lee go giggle. When you bump into me 2 years from now,
Talking about the trash
as a
can.
joke, we're comedians. What do we say? We went out. We had an 8-ball. We bumped into two of the hottest chicks.
That's how you did.
We took them back to a Holiday Inn.
Oh, you should
You
have
know
seen
what,
me.
Rodrigo? If you tell me that, oh, Felipe, that's okay. That's okay, dog. You know, it's not a lie. You did get your dick sucked. You know, whether you were pretty is for the judge or whatever. Sometimes you pick up an ugly chick, you know, whatever. But things are happening in your life, whatever. But for me, I had 2 situations in my life. I used to have a friend that owned a deli. That dog, I could go up to the next morning. He'd be like, I went out with Felipe last night, but we partied out till 6 in the morning with Richard Gere. And oh my God, and Lee Sayat was there. And oh my God, it was fucking amazing. Then A week later, I bump into Felipe and go, "What's up, dog? Dog, what happened that night? You went out with fucking Silent Bob. You said you were till 6 Silent Bob. I haven't seen Silent Bob in a year. I had one of those motherfuckers. Oh, that would just, and you'd sit there and go, why would somebody say that? But you knew if you went back and you weren't going to win the argument. I said that. I said the time before. I didn't say him. I said he was one of those dudes. He just, and then I grew up with this girl way before you guys were around. Chachi. Remember Chachi? Scott Baio. This girl in high school just made up a story that she was dating Scott Baio. Dog, this went on for like 2 years. Saw the girl every fucking Monday. Wow. I'm dating Scott Baio, and she would have pictures of her with Scott Baio, but with 20 other people. And Scott Baio was on the other side of the room, and she'd be on this side of the room. And she'd tell me how, oh, no, he doesn't want us to know, anybody to know that we're dating. We're going to the junior prom together and shit. And the junior prom came, and she came with some fat dude with pimples. I never called her on it because why would you make that up? You have to feel bad on your own just walking around thinking that
Go
shit.
back crack on.
You have to feel bad just thinking that in your mind. Right or wrong. You have to think that you feel bad just thinking that you said that lie. That Scott Baio's going to come to your fucking wedding.
I remember, man, I lied to my mom. No, did I lie to my mom? I lied to my mom a bunch of times. So I lied to my dad. Oh, yeah, I know. I think I lied because I messed up my hand somehow outside somewhere. And I told my dad that I messed up my hand trying to catch a home run in Dodger Stadium.
That when you were working on it?
No, that was a kid. Because I had like this purple thing on my hand. And I didn't know how it got there, right? I have this purple permanent bruise on my hand. So one time my dad asked me, why do you have that there? And I must have bumped into something. I said, no, I was trying to catch this baseball at Dodger Stadium right now. And we were both there. And I felt bad because I lied to him. I never told him the truth.
I lied. I feel so bad now about my mom. I told her so many lies growing up. I told my stepdad, well, I tried telling him lies. That motherfucker was a lie detector. That dude was just a fucking lie detector. Like I said, all those years, I just lied my way through them. I'm going to get money on Friday. I'm waiting for this. I'm waiting for that. They were just fucking lies, man. I'm happy I stopped that shit. But when you're wheeling and dealing, it's okay to lie. It's when you lie to your friends about fucking weird shit, you want to have to lie to them for,
I lie sometimes too, man. I say, yeah, man, you had a great set, bro. Your set was killer, bro. I'm surprised they didn't sign you.
It's hard because you have to remember them. Like if you lie to everybody, you have to remember all the lies. It must be hard to keep straight.
I would have been nervous walking around firemen.
It's funny. I was on Marin, and I told the story on Marin. This is the type of shit that people are just, I told the story on Marin. I was very fortunate. When I was a young man, I wanted to learn how to do so many weird things. And when I moved to Aspen, I met a chick, and her husband was this fucking closet killer.
Don't be lying.
And all this guy did was we became friends, and after a while, he showed me his weapons. And then after a while, he showed me how to shoot. I would spend the Friday night with him.
Was that the ice cream guy?
No, this is just a regular white dude that was a great guy, big motherfucker, Vietnam vet, trained, the whole fucking thing. And he'd take me to the mountains. I'd pay for bullets, and he'd let me shoot his guns. He'd teach me how to shoot them from angles and shit. And one day, the guy trusted me. He goes, listen, dog, I really want to rob the Bank of Aspen. I've got these plans. He took me to fucking lunch, and he came out with the most detailed fucking plan of
blueprints and shit.
Everything.
How long have you been planning it for?
A year and a half before he met me. He just needed guys. And his plan was to rob the Bank of Aspen Christmas Eve. When you're telling a story, okay? And you're just excited that you're telling the story.
Yeah.
I said, when I told the story, I go, we were going to rob the bank on Christmas Day. Oh, my God. I got 50 people that are calling me a liar because the banks are closed on Christmas Day. So, do you understand me? What you got to deal with any way you put it? We deal with this. There's people
I thought you said Christmas Eve.
Right. But in the rush of the story, I said, we're going to rob you Christmas Day. And the fucking people are like, well, banks are closed on Christmas Day.
I said that too.
You know? Banks are closed on Christmas Day. It was fucking
Christmas Day.
You know, it's people will scrutinize no matter what. But for me to make up something, I don't gain from that, bro.
Well, they can.
Listen, not to interrupt you. Let me tell you something. I'm gonna tell you something. You know I love you. I don't mean to interrupt you. Let me tell you something. I've forgotten more good fucking stories than the stories I remember. I did drugs for 30 years. I've forgotten fucking good stories. I'm gonna go home next week and I bump into my friends and they pull me over and they'll go, the last time I saw you, ba-ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba-ba. Between you and I, some of them could be bullshit because I don't remember it all. But some of them, I catch it and I start thinking about it. I go, oh shit, I did eat shit. Yeah, I remember I learned something. A friend of mine.
I really don't know the guy, man, but he tells me what's up every time.
Yeah, a goofy friend of mine. We're all fans of this movie. A goofy friend of mine gave me a book in Miami one time. And it was the book by, and it made a lot of sense to me. It was the book by Henry Hill's daughter. She wrote a book. What's it called? Who the fuck knows? My father's a bum. So she wrote this fucking book, you know, just not saying that he was a liar, but saying that he was like fucking a bum. He was high. How does he almost cause a lot of problems? Because she's like, how does he, you know, remember half this shit if he was high? And she told her side of the story. Like the funniest thing ever, that's funny to us, that movie, they stole it, was that in real life, he was living with Karen in Seattle, Washington. And one day he went and did something, met some chick, married her, and brought her back to Seattle, Washington to Renton and lived with Karen and his new wife. And when Karen asked him, are you fucking crazy? He goes, no, don't worry about it. I married in my other name. That's the line that Steve Martin had. And when he calls the detective in the fucking room, he goes, I'm in Vegas. Say hello to my wife. Yeah. And he goes, you're not supposed to fucking get married. He goes, don't worry, I married under my new wife. Henry Hill really did that. He really married a chick and brought her home and said, listen, I'm married to you as Henry Hill. I'm married to her as Mario Andretti. That's how fucking crazy this guy was. So she goes, this is how crazy he was. You're really going to believe his story. You know? It's like when you do coke. I love doing coke. But you know what the fucking hardest thing about doing coke was? 4 in the morning. If you did coke with somebody who wasn't going to suck your dick, that means they're going to tell you their story. And that's our signature. We all have, every hooker has a fucking story. We're all fucking hookers. And we all translate it from our point of view. You know what I'm saying? Somebody else might tell my story and tell how dirty and a disgusting fucking human being I was, which is fucking true. You know, I'm telling you, I always tell people, you have no fucking idea. But they're like, no, we like you, Joey. Okay. But it's just weird because I remember getting high with people and they break down at 4 in the morning and tell me how their parents molested them and shit. You know, and how they dealt with it.
Buzzkill.
Oh my God. Tremendous buzzkill.
Remember that from Tampa, dog? Joey?
Oh my God.
They worked at the Improv.
We're getting high with some guy in Tampa. He worked for the Improv, but he don't work there no more. Some fat kid who looked like Canelo the boxer, you know, but if he was like 500 pounds. And we're smoking weed with this guy, and then his friend shows up, you know, his other friend, there was us, and he starts telling us that his other friend that's not there raped his little sister. And I'm like, damn.
And I gotta tell you something, I love you to death. I know you for 20 years, so I tell you this with all due respect. You're a lunatic magnet. If they're lunatics, you attract them. Every city. And you encourage these fucking lunatics. They're lunatics. You make them pick you up and go to lunch with these savages. And then they come to my shows about Birdman, missing an eye, with 16 people. And they're like, hi, we want to take you to our home deep dinner for Felipe came over. Listen, Felipe's to a different level. I'm going with people eat fucking lunch. You're a fucking lunatic.
I know, man. I'm in Odessa, Texas, and the owner of the club was Felipe. You want to go to some fights? Sure, man. Let's go. Halfway there, what kind of fights are these, man? Dog fights will make you drop me off. I don't want to go.
Felipe, and he takes the ride, and he lets him pick him up, and he hangs out with them, and then he gives him your number. Hey, bro, I'm with this guy, dog. He picked me up at the airport. He loves this house eating. It's fucking crazy. You mingle with these fucking people. Sure, they're buzzkills. I spot them. I see them with that. They try to get you
right away, huh?
Oh, dog, they try to.
Because I like when you notice them, man. Your head starts nodding, and you start talking fast, and you pick up your phone, and you got to go.
Listen, dog, first of all, I'm deaf. I'm legally deaf. So if it's you and noise in the room, I'm here. Like last night, we're having a conversation with the nicest guy in the world. I heard nothing. I was looking at you. You're over there bowing, turning red in the face from how high you
It's
are.
a talent he has.
I don't hear nothing. So when you see my head bowing and you continue, like I know if I'm talking to somebody, what's going on. If I come up to you, I'm like, hi, my name is Kyle. I'm a big fan. And I'm looking at you, and you have like this weird, confused look like that. I'm walking the fuck away from you. I caught you at a bad time.
Or you walk up to that comedian from Houston, Joey, I made $50,000 last month. I made $20,000 this month.
Which one?
Remember that guy from Houston, he'll tell you that he made $50,000 last night, selling DVDs, working for Mencia. Now I want to borrow $1,000.
Oh. It's like when you're in jail, dog. That's how much money I got. I got paper everywhere. Dog, let me get some cigarettes and shit. I'll hook you up next week. Yeah. Why do you gotta fucking lie to me? No, you meet Felipe attracts every lunatic there is out there. But not only does he attract them, because Duncan has the same power. Duncan's people come and they walk in and they got big eyes and they're like, can I talk to you for a second? I had this vision. Listen, let me talk to you later on. All right, here's a joint. Go in the corner and smoke it. Step out in the street by the bus there. I'll be right out. There's some lunatics out there. But in the world of lunacy, nobody attracts them and keeps them around. Like Felipe. Felipe gives lunatics like gasoline. Like he gives them a hope to live till next time. Like, let's not be back in a year and shit.
Don't cry.
You hold on. Don't kill yourself. Don't shoot your mother. I'll be back. We'll
Feed your bird, man.
And then they'll show up to the shows and go, I'm friends with Felipe. And you're like, listen, I don't know what the fuck's going on, but I can't do it. What was it? One night there was a friend of yours somewhere that tormented me. This had to be around a year ago.
San Jose?
No. No, this was somewhere else, Spanish guy. He tormented me. He bought tickets for the boat show.
He's probably listening right now.
Michael Myers, bro.
No.
Michael Myers, from Houston, fool? Nah.
Houston got a lot of fucking lunatics, dog. Back in the day, me and Felipe used to have some good fucking times in Houston, Texas. Listen, I loved it. I tell you, if I could, I don't give a fuck about drugs. I was born to do drugs. I was born to get my dick sucked and get freaky and get horned up and look out windows. It was a horrible time in my life, but then again, I fucking loved it. Will I do it again? No, I would never get high again. I don't even want to know what that feels like ever again. That was just crazy. And I saw this guy in his worst time, and he saw me in my fucking all-time worst time. So, what's up with you, fucko? You ready for another edible? Did you eat a piece of chocolate?
No, man.
Why not? When you gotta eat a star.
Because I had 3 stars.
So who gives a fuck? We all ate 10
smokes.
things. Who gives a fuck? What's
So I'm done right now.
You're not done. You're not done till the show's over.
You're crazy.
So pick something. You want a star or a piece of chocolate? Which one?
Neither.
A half a star or
That
a piece
star's
of
pretty strong, man.
Yeah, it is. That way you think I eat them, Cole, because
Man,
they're
for the
shitty.
first 30 minutes, I'm just still here listening to you.
You want to eat a star? You want another one?
I'm good with that star, man.
How many do you eat?
I got the Star of David in my heart.
All right. So you gotta eat this shit. It's Wednesday night. It's Mexican Independence. How dare your girlfriend's Mexican, correct?
Yes.
And how dare you sit down and bump on a lot? You gonna pick her up after this?
No.
What? What is wrong with you?
Because she lives with her mother and I'm high as fuck.
So
What do I
gives a
do?
fuck? You beat the horn, tell her
the
come
mother
down.
out. Send the
You
mother
never
out.
seen West Side Story? Go over there and beat the fucking horn.
Do what?
Tell her come over. Let's go back to my house. Let's celebrate Mexican Independence.
With me being this high.
Who gives a fuck? Give her 2 stars and make it catch up. What's wrong with you? I'm giving you all these ideas here. So you figure out how to get a little taste before you go to Las Vegas. And you're acting like a half a fag.
We're gonna have lunch tomorrow.
What? Yeah, lunch. What's lunch? That's 40 out of your pocket and you
No,
don't get nuts.
she's coming over.
She's coming off for sure?
Yeah.
What's she making?
I don't know.
He said, I gotta deal with it. He's worse than you with the vegan shit. I got a vegan and a fucking Jew that don't know what she's making.
Her mom is a little bit upset with you, Felipe.
Why?
She saw you on Platinito, the one with like
Yeah.
and Paula told her that you're vegan, and she goes, no. She gets very upset. She shakes her head and goes, no. So, just, I don't know.
I'm still upset he's a fucking vegan. We used to have fun when he used to eat meat. You could take him to places and eat. Now he's a fucking vegan. He's eating olive oil off his fingers and shit. I need that shit.
I was telling Rodrigo about that restaurant right next to the hotel you always eat. The donut shop, Shrimps. Shrimps? Shipley's?
The one with
Shipley's. Shrimps. The hot dog bun. It's like a hot Houston by the freeway. Shrimpley's.
across the street from the old
It's
Houston.
like a croissant hot dog.
No, I never fuck with that
You
shit.
did, man.
I like
Shipley's.
No.
It's in Houston.
Hold on.
It's a donut shop.
Hold
Like
on.
a breakfast sausage wrapped in a hot dog.
What are you confusing me for?
Look it up.
There's a certain name for that, but they have them in a lot of places. I forget what the paoli, something like that. The sausage and the thing. I used to go by the last stop, up the corner by the old Houston last stop. They used to make the best jalapeno ones. Oh my god!
All crunchy.
I used to get a dozen of those fucking things with 2 cans of Coke for breakfast. I'd do Coke till 6 in the morning. And Pistol Pete would drive me to whatever house. Pistol Pete would drive me over. I get a dozen of those things and 2 cans of Coke. Dog. Work now. We go to the place on West Gray. That's the breakfast place that the guy owned with the Greek guy that hated everybody. That would tell you to hurry up and order. What do you want to order? Hey, I don't know. What do you have? Hurry up and order. Hurry up. I don't have time for this shit. And white people would run the fuck out of there. What the fuck are those things in Houston again? I always eat them. I just had them when I was down there deliciously. Taquitos.
What should I search?
Shripley's, a place called Shripley's.
I don't fucking know. Don't make me call people. I always forget and shit.
Okay.
Anyway, no, they have them in a lot of places. I only did the Houston Improv twice. I did the old one once and this one, this last fucking time. Yeah, no. That's the place. I didn't even like they had the
Shripley's Donuts?
Yeah, what do they have? What's in their place? What's
That's the place, yeah.
Peyotes, what's it called?
Shipley Donuts.
I know, but there's something
It's like a hot dog.
What's the name? Yeah, it's a sausage.
Okay.
That's a weird name. Like a cannoli. Fremboli.
I don't think they have that fucking menu up. Hold on.
Wait.
I'll look for it. It's not on their website. Hold on.
Yes, it is. I forget what the fuck the name it is. What's going on with you,
Here
Philip?
we
What are you
go.
doing next? When are you shooting your next special?
Oh man, I hope I'll shoot my next special this year, sometime in December.
Where at?
We don't know yet.
How many specials have you shot?
Just one.
Kolaches.
Kolaches. What's in them?
Kolache Factory.
There's Shipley right there.
Kolache Factory. Yeah, no, but Shipley's is a place that sells kolaches.
Oh,
But everybody
that's
sells
what it's called.
kolaches, but there's a place called the Kolache Factory that's really good. And they have all the
Is that Polish?
jalapeno ones.
Kolaches are Polish?
I don't fucking know,
Italian?
bro.
They got sausage and cheese,
Kolache.
jalapeno and cheese,